Hello everyone, I am Zazubaar, and welcome to this fantastic episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. Joining me as always are my great friends, Adam Noyce.
Hello, YouTube.
Andres Perez.
Hi.
And Dylan McCandless.
Hi.
And I wanted to give Andres the chance to be a little bit higher up on the rank of command that time, because I feel bad for him always being last. And I always like to do nice things for my friends.
Why, thank you, Bill. I very much appreciate it.
Bill, that is such a good human thing that you did right there. I am so proud of you, Bill.
Oh, thank you, Adam. I love you, man.
I love you too, Bill.
I can't wait for you to get back to New York. I'm just going to give you a big old hug.
Oh, well, thank you, Bill. I am so excited. I'll make you some tea while I'm at it.
Oh, that would just be scrumptious, my friend.
It really feels like we have come a long way since we first met each other.
I know. We used to talk about very adult things on very naughty things on this podcast.
I personally think it's time to grow up. Personally, I personally think that.
I agree, and I think that it's time that we started to have some more intellectual conversations. So, boys, let's have a very spirited but low-key conversation about the brand new Toho Godzilla film. I am personally quite excited for this venture. I think it'll be a very positive direction for the franchise to take it back to Japan and go back to basics.
Well, without a doubt, it will definitely be an interesting direction that the Godzilla franchise would go in no matter what, because it just sounds like it'd be, no matter what, a load of fun, because no matter what happens in the end, we're getting more Godzilla.
And that's just going to be a darn good time at the movies. I mean, it may not come out in movie theaters, but even if it doesn't, I am going to treat every moment watching that film like I am in a movie theater with my good buddies and just enjoying the heck out of it.
And it would be a lot of fun being able to pop in that wonderful DVD and just sitting back and watching Godzilla destroy some wonderful, wonderful buildings.
Not that I approve of the destruction.
Oh,
but,
right.
You know,
I don't approve of the destruction of their death. Yeah.
But you know what? It's just a matter of necessities of the franchise. So you know what? As much as I wag my finger at Godzilla, we gotta love him.
Exactly, Bill. I completely 100% agree.
This is
that's
stupid! I want to talk about vaginas!
Diabetes.
This is what I meant by Gary Busey.
Yeah, I've seen that commercial.
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. I was just like, because the thought of Gary Busey makes me laugh, so don't mention Gary Busey.
You see that post somebody made where it's like, Godzilla 2000 looks like Gary Busey, and I was like, my god, it does.
What does Godzilla 2000 look like Gary Busey?
There's a certain picture out there, and when you put it side by side with Gary Busey, I wish I could find
looks like Gary Busey. It totally does.
It's freaking hilarious.
Gary Busey!
I won't be in a Godzilla movie!
I'll fight Godzilla myself!
I feel bad for
I'll fight the guy, like, give me a best shot.
He's one of the best parts of Predator 2.
Oh, yeah. Did you guys ever see Silver Bullet, fucking Stephen King short story that got turned into a werewolf movie?
Yeah.
Oh, he's great in that, because he's like, that was like a couple of years before the motorcycle accident, And oh my god.
A lot of people hate Predator 2, and I'm like, how can you hate this movie?
No, Predator 2 is not the worst thing. I think it's better than Predators, though I think part of that's nostalgia.
Danny Glover calls him Pussyface.
Danny Glover's awesome in that movie. Though Bill Paxton's a little much. It feels like he just got cast because they were like, I really like Hudson and Alien, so let's put him in fucking Predator 2.
If they had taken advantage of that, and at some point in the movie the Predator had been coming at him and he would have been all like, game over, man.
It's also funny that Bill Paxton was in a Terminator, a Predator, and an Alien movie, and then what happened all those years later when they did that fucking crossover?
Even none of them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's always playing, like, smaller characters, like, you know.
I mean, why not?
In Terminator, he has, like, 3 lines, and then in Aliens is probably his biggest, and then,
That should have become his thing.
We are now officially recording the episode, right?
Yeah, we're recording.
Oh, okay.
I like to leave some audio to burn off through the intro, so that way it kind of fades into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get that.
But
nice,
anyway,
like, dudes already having a conversation, and then we just sort of come in on the middle of it effect, even though we're ruining it by explaining it.
Exactly. Precisely. Well, fucking hello, everyone, and welcome to another fan-fucking-tastic episode
Fuck!
of
Holy shit!
Yeah! Oh,
I
yeah!
made a point to say fuck as many fucking times as fucking possible.
Oh,
Jesus
I
fucking
love-
Christ.
Fuck! Oh, yeah!
I've let it.
Fun! No.
So, yep, I welcome to another episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast.
Yep, that's the Sons of Serizawa right there.
Yep, that's our SOS. Joining me as always, I already introduced him, but what the fuck, I'll do it again. My good fucking friend Adam Noyce.
Hello, insects of YouTube.
My other great fucking friend Dylan McCandless.
So fucking great to be here, you guys. What the fuck?
And introducing him last and a little bit least, Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir.
Rocket punch, motherfuckers!
But he's still my fucking friend.
You guys
See,
are
we-
the worst fucking people to ever live on the fucking face of the earth. You fucking know that?
Yeah.
You're
See, we put up,
damn right.
you see, we put up with his tagline every episode, you guys, but we're still his friend, because we're nice like that.
Yeah, exactly. See, we do have nice, wholesome things to offer this world. So there is...
They're few and far between.
In fact, you know what? If the time ever came where each of us experienced It's a Wonderful Life moment, the whole world would end up being better without us. Really.
I want to live, Clarence. I want to live. He's like, are you sure? Have you seen this
You
shit?
sure?
It's pretty
Have you
fucking
seen the
great
life
out here
of
without
people?
you.
George Bush didn't become president. I mean, that's a win right there.
Indeed. So there's a reason for this, for the reveling in the word fuck and the snarkiness. And if you follow Toho Nation and you saw the very ominous fucking lack of
That was my intention. Ominous is what I was
panel denied, you probably have a suspicion at least of what exactly occurred over the New Year's week.
I'm not sure
that,
about one guy who responded to it by simply putting "what."
Just posted like 10 minutes ago, but it's been a couple days since this was recorded, so there'll probably be more comments by now. But anyway, so but first things first, before we get into this, Happy New Year's, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy
Woo!
2015. Jesus fucking...
And 2015 started off so great. The New Year's special was fantastic. I thought, I was listening back to it earlier, really, really good stuff. You know, kind of a good mix of our normal stuff of being, sometimes kind of insightful and sometimes heartfelt, but then also the really down and dirty type of humor that we like to get into on this podcast.
No conceitedness in this whatsoever.
Yeah, so, and as I'm sure you fine folks out there listening remember, we made a little announcement at the end of the last episode of SOS. Not just a little announcement, a pretty big fucking announcement that we were all very excited about, very enthusiastic about. Mm-hmm. And that, of course, was that we were going to get a panel at G-Fest. We were going to do a live podcast there, and that we were going to do a little show there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Revelation time. That's not happening anymore.
Yeah. So, well, we're not going to spend a crazy amount of time on this. Just kind of stress the main points, and then we're going to move on, because it's really not a great situation, and it's already kind of sad and depressing enough, so we kind of just want to sweep it under the rug and move on. But basically, here's the basic gist of it. We found out about this from our contact a while ago.
Like,
and
mm-hmm.
we found out that this was probably going to happen. And everything that we were told up to this point seemed that it was pretty much a lock-in that it was going to go down, which is the ultimate reason why I waited so long to make the announcement was because I wanted to make sure that we had enough time for everything to be put in place, and also that anything that could go wrong would have time to go wrong.
We should have waited a little fucking longer.
Waited at least 3 weeks longer because. What was it? It was the 2 days after we make the announcement publicly. We got a little message from the good folks over at G-Fest that they don't want us there. So yeah.
Yeah, we waited just about 5 months.
That might be wording it a bit strongly. Basically, what the situation is they're worried, and in reflection, they're probably right.
They're more than right. They really are.
That the family-friendly image of G-Fest and what we do don't exactly jive, and that's completely fair.
And here's the thing. Yeah. Here's the thing. We were willing to put on a more family-friendly rendition of our show, but the main problem is that the fact that we are connected to this show, which is completely not family-friendly, and so. Imagine this, where you have a situation where, let's say, little Jimmy comes to G-Fest with his mom, and
Hi, I'm little Jimmy, and I'm going to see the Serizawa podcast panel down at G-Fest, Mom. Okay, Jimmy, go ahead. So he walks in there with his lollipop, right? And he sits down right in the front row.
He's wearing little tiny shorts and a nice...
He has a cab with a propeller on it.
I was about to say that, Andre.
He sits down right in the front row with his big-ass lollipop, and he sits there, his belly's kind of hanging out, his pants are riding up a little bit
sailor outfits that parents used to dress their kids in.
Yeah, he's wearing that. And then we come out and we say our stuff, and we're being
shocking that he didn't get his ass kicked before
and he's like, I'm going to watch the Sons of Serizawa podcast when I get home. So he goes home, he types up the Sons of Serizawa podcast, and he hears us talk about, plane jizz. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. He hears us talk about plane jizz, and he's like, Mommy, guess what I learned today? And then Mommy gets all crazy, and she goes, well, how dare you have this stuff at G-Fest, you horrible, horrible people. And then it just gets really bad, and the whitey and everything like that.
And the badness, and the lady.
And it just gets nasty, and it just doesn't work out for anyone.
Right. It's a lose-lose situation for everyone.
Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to stress with this was... You know what? We're disappointed that it couldn't happen, but ultimately, the people at G-Fest were totally right in what they and why they didn't want us to do it.
You shouldn't say the people at G-Fest. You should say the people who run G-Fest.
That's what I meant. That's what I mean.
Well, it ain't what you said.
So, all right, relax.
There's a difference, Bill. There just is. And I mean, this is a very iffy topic we're talking about. So it's like
we got to make sure everything is perfectly clear.
All right, so
we don't want to be like North Korea.
So here's the major thing you want to.
Nobody wants to be like North Korea.
we don't want to get hacked and fucking pull our podcast from the internet.
Only to have it be released anyways.
We don't want to be dictated by a cockroach from outer space.
Well, hang on. So here's the ultimate point of this whole thing. We're not mad at the folks who run G-Fest. We totally understand their reasons, and as disappointing as it is that it's not going to happen, ultimately, the bygones are bygones. There's no bad feelings around towards anybody. We're not going to do any finger pointing. We took care of our snarkiness already, so we had to get that out of the way. But just honestly, we like what the people who run G-Fest do over there, and we don't want to in any way be involved with ruining their image or changing.
Believe it or not, or trying to basically censor our stuff. Because this is what I wanted to say. And I truly mean it. And that is, you guys and Gorazard, the three of you and Gorazard are really some of the best friends I've ever had, period. I have more fun talking to you guys about the randomest shit than I do most weeks talking to the people I've known most of my life. And you know what?
Sorry. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I just want to say the feeling is absolutely mutual.
And you know what? We're not going to let anybody tarnish the friendship that has formed between us or try to, censor us, because this is our show. In the end, this is our show.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It would have been a lose-lose situation all around, because by virtue of going there, we would have had to water down the show and censor it and cut out all the stuff that I think makes the show the show. So it would have been bad for them. It would have been bad for us. And ultimately, I'm kind of glad that things went down this way. I wish they would have gone down a little bit sooner, but we're not going to complain.
So in the end, we're not.
I just know that I would have slipped up and said fuck at some point. So
that is me, Andres. I completely apologize. I had to move.
Somebody would have pulled out their dick while they're sitting at the table. Little Jimmy would have been right there. He would have been.
You got to be comfortable, Bill, when you're doing your podcast.
Mommy, what's a penis?
Remember when Daddy got out of the shower that one time, and you said there was a snake looking at you? That was the snake.
You got to be comfortable when you're doing your podcast, and if that means doing the whole thing fucking with your dick out, whatever,
You got I know rock out with your cock out.
Exactly. That phrase could never be more accurate than
you
want
to replicate the home environment, because that's where you usually do this stuff. So
Imagine the first thing we say is like okay, who wants to ask us any questions? You there? What is your name? Jimmy. Okay, hey Jimmy, welcome to G-Fest. Put a dick in your mouth.
Why is everyone here whose name is Jimmy? Is that a popular name here?
Is this just like a popular name here or something? What's going on?
Whose name here isn't
Jimmy?
Jimmy?
What's up with that?
Andres doesn't know any other white names besides Jimmy.
What's your name? James. Oh, it's like, fuck you.
We have enough James involved in our lives.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy and James is the same fucking name.
Damn it!
Basically, our whole shtick with this is no bad feelings at all towards the folks who run the convention. We just want to kind of, put this behind us. It's not going to happen. Again, of course, we're disappointed, but we hold no animosity towards them. We are still going to be there as regular attendees,
of course.
So we're pissed. We're still going to go. We're still going to have a great time.
We're still going to be hanging in the little restaurant, staring at famous people while they have breakfast. We'll be doing that.
Not blinking, breathing heavily, foaming at the mouth.
So
having convulsive when the person turns around and looks at us, and just one of us has convulsive diarrhea. See, we couldn't have done that kind of humor if we would have done the panel. So you know what? I'm kind of glad we get to
here.
And the thing is, here's the thing that I guess I'll just publicly state it here. Then why not? I'm gay. No.
What?
I like dick.
No,
what's a running gag of yours?
What?
My entire perception of Adam Noyce has faded into non-existence.
Dylan hangs up the phone because he's from the South, and we all know that the South is nothing but a bunch of bigots, right?
What did you expect the guy from Duck Dynasty to say?
Of course, me.
No. What I wanted to publicly say is that I really do want to get the Godzilla Saga panel down at G-Fest one day, really, really badly. However, it's going to be what it is. I guess I'm still going to go down because maybe I'll meet some hunk or something down there who likes G-Fest just as much as me, and we hit it off. And
I don't know if you're going to meet very many hunks. Huh?
Exactly.
Right. Considering how the majority of people look like, us.
But anyway,
everybody knows my opinion on Bill.
I know. Well, remember that handshake, Adam. The feeling is still mutual. So here's my thing I'd like to say, in regards to this whole thing. Again, we love G-Fest. We love the convention. We had a great time there last year.
To be honest, I don't love it because, I've never been there before.
Yes,
so.
Adam, we get it at this point.
You will, and it's a great place. If you're a Godzilla fan, please definitely go. It's such a good environment, so friendly, so warm, so it's a big family kind of experience. So
and there are people like us who enjoy the same type of humor that we do.
Oh, listen, we met a plethora of dick jokes while we were there, just not in front of the crowd.
I mean, we met fucking Jacob Baker, and he's practically one of us. I mean,
yeah.
Yes, he's one of our best allies.
And Big E is on his way to becoming that as well, it seems.
He's on his way. So here's my overarching point. I love that convention, but I also love this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I love you guys, and I love the humor that we put forth on the show. And it may not be to everybody else's taste, but you know what? You got to have some variety out there. And I think this show is the definition of variety in the Godzilla fan community, because it's like there's not much else out there that came up with something like the Godzilla fleshlight. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like,
that was definitely the highlight of World War G, though.
It's like this show is never going to be mainstream.
No, not at all.
And it would it be nice? Sure.
Yeah.
But it's never going to happen, because our sense of humor is it's very, very kind of counterculture-esque. You know what I mean? We talk about dicks, we talk about pussies, we talk about assholes, and then every now and then we talk about Godzilla.
Right, but I just want to say that I like to believe, like you mentioned before in the New Year special, Bill, I like to believe that we are not solely defined by that, as if it was like some sort of gimmick. Where we're the super offensive podcast of the Godzilla community.
No, the idea isn't to be shticky.
We're not acting the way we are for shock value. We
don't do it to be cool and different. You know what I mean? Because it's like we just do it
because we are. That's
who we are.
Yeah.
And ultimately, this whole thing is the reason why this thing will never be mainstream, and why it would almost hurt it to try and force it to become mainstream and water it down to be more kind of friendly to all the demographics, is that this show is about 5 guys talking about whatever the hell they want to talk about and just being themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
Let's go to South by Southwest. Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
We're at an all-time high.
Dunking down moonshine.
Don't make me bust out that song, Andres.
You know how Dylan is with fucking Octopussy.
And once again, I feel left out.
Have you ever seen Octopussy?
Yes, and I didn't hate it.
Well, then that's a reason why you're left out.
So many tentacles. What if there was a practical reason for her being called Octopussy? What if he went to fuck her and she pulls up her dress and there's fucking tentacles hanging out? There's a beak.
So it's like that music video.
Oh,
exactly what I'm talking
about.
There's a friend of mine who I hang out with in school, who we now call the Coctopus because he's got 8 dicks and no friends. So.
Is this who I think it is?
That's why he has no friends, because it's. And also, where does he buy pants?
Costco.
Costco, yeah, Costco, very Coctopus friendly. But anyway.
I heard somebody say that as a response one time to where do you get the balls? Costco.
Costco. Discount. You can buy a fucking 16-pack of that shit. So, no G-Fest panel. Sorry to those of you out there who were excited about going, all 3 of you.
Sorry, that one guy.
Yeah, who commented and said they were excited. But we're not going to do it. So, but definitely still go to the convention. It's still going to be great, and we'll still be there. So, if you want to hang out, we'll definitely be around.
Yeah. So that one guy who was excited for us doing it. Yeah, fuck you. We're not doing it.
We'll still.
Just kidding. We love you, man. We love you.
We're going to strangle your dreams in the shower.
We'll still raise hell in our own unique way, and we'll still leave our mark as we did last year.
Exactly. We're going to burn our hotel room.
We're going to trash it like fucking Motley Crue.
No. I'm gonna take the world's biggest dump in that toilet.
No.
That toilet's gonna think that dynamite hit it. All right,
guys. We are going to put the Can't Touch Diabetes rap on repeat until Bill throws up all over the room.
I was losing my ice cream.
I seem to actively aim at the most expensive things in the room. TV and the laptops and the fucking bed.
And the lighting.
the lady.
The most hilarious thing about that was how Bill was like, "Dylan, stop playing that music video. I'm gonna throw up," and then I slowly hit the button.
And they showed no guilt whatsoever, of course.
Yep.
So, I don't know if there's really anything else we can possibly say except this show is going to always be what we want it to be, and we're never going to change it, and we never want to. We hope you guys keep enjoying it, and, we're going to still keep on keeping on, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So,
interestingly enough, how we kind of learned a lot about ourselves through this experience, and how it's really like strengthened our resolve to continue doing what we do, because what we do is something we enjoy.
In the end, in a completely heterosexual way, we really do love each other. We have this friendship that has formed between all 5 of us over the past almost 2 years. Actually, for some of us, it's been longer than that. It's been a lot longer than that.
I've known you for...
I've known you since I was a freshman in high school. So
I have known you. How long have I known you?
2011? Yeah.
About
that. Whenever that first chat came out, which I think was 2011.
I think it was 2011.
It came out right after Forest of Blood.
Yeah, so it's been almost 4 years. It's going to be 4 years this October that I've known you. So,
right.
Which is almost a quarter. Well, yeah, it is about a quarter of your life.
A quarter of... Wait, 4 years? What does that mean? I'm going to live for fucking...
No,
of your current life right now.
A quarter of Bill's life would be 5 years, Andres. All right?
He said almost. I thought it's been almost a quarter.
Don't complicate this with math. We're film majors.
Okay, Andres. Okay, no cuatro. All right, cinco.
No, Andres. No me gusta. No me gusta.
No matemáticas.
¿Te gusta? Sí, ¿te gusta?
Me gusta el puerto, Andres. Me gusta el puerto.
¿Te gusta matemáticas?
Sí.
Oh, God, he's hurling those devilish tongues at us.
Como se llama?
I clean?
I think he's working with the devil.
I clean here?
He's trying to steal my soul.
I need more lemon pledge. You should just bring some from home. No,
Senor Griffith.
No, diabito.
I stay. No diabito. That's another fucking personal in-joke G-Fest reference.
Actually, that's a reference to Family Guy. Calling the fat guy in Mothra diabito is the G-Fest joke.
No, but that's why it's like indirectly. You know what I'm saying, Dylan? You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
No, diabito.
We were really disappointed that Diabito wasn't at G-Fest.
Diabito should be... Is he alive?
Probably not.
Wait, Adam, who was that fat guy from Mothra? The snapping turtle.
What a fucking question!
What? It's like I automatically know all the fat people, I guess.
There's not many fat people in Toho movies,
I wonder if he's the
something
same...
Something Sekai.
I wonder if he's the same fat guy from Return of Daimajin. Is he the same fat guy from Return of Daimajin?
Fuck no.
Really? I couldn't tell.
I know that
Asian
Mothra...
fat, so.
He was a comedy guy. He was a stand-up comic, kind of, in Japan at the time.
He was definitely the comic relief of Mothra.
But then all of a sudden he plays in a movie like The Last War where he has a pretty damn serious... His name is Frankie Sekai.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
See, I wasn't sure if he was the same fat guy, because it was like, I couldn't really tell.
No.
Because he was just like an Asian fat guy, and like...
Yes, because all Asian fat guys look alike.
You know, Dylan, this podcast is going so well, and you just have to bring in the fucking racist shit.
That's my job.
Last thing I want to say about this.
Who else but Quagmire?
It's just kind of a reassurance to our listeners that, again, no bad feelings towards G-Fest. We're not saying, oh, fuck G-Fest because they wouldn't let us do a panel there.
No,
not at all.
No.
We have no animosity whatsoever. So, you know, if you're listening and you're like, oh my god, I love G-Fest, fuck these guys. We don't have that opinion at all. There are plenty of other reasons to have that opinion of us.
You're not sanctioning any shenanigans or leaving of dog shit on doorsteps.
No,
that would be kind of funny.
Also to our listeners.
Dog shit on a doorstep's always funny.
It is. It really is.
Also to our listeners.
Just not...
Especially if it's on fire.
Oh yeah, fiery dog.
I did that once and I regretted it for life. It was the person wasn't.
Or
even
we get some of Gihara's hair and we burn it and we just place it on their doorstep and they think it's gas.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, he's dead. It must have been the diabetes.
Well, hang on. Hang on. Let me finish out this wholesome fucking request to our listeners, and then we can get into burning dog shit. So, another bequest to our fans is, please also don't hold any animosity towards G-Fest on our behalf, because there's no reason to do anything brash in terms of, attacking them for not doing the panel there, or for any kind of animosity towards them, no kind of internet hatred. Because trust me, we know how this shit works, and that's why we were very careful with our wording tonight, because we don't want that to happen. Mm-hmm. The last thing we want is to be the guys who hated on G-Fest and then sent a bunch of Godzilla fans against G-Fest. That's the last thing we need is any kind of dispute in the Godzilla fandom in that way. We're all one big community, and while there's definitely room for a lot of variety, as we have tried our best to prove with the content of this podcast and with our tone, we don't need any kind of bad feelings going on between anybody because we didn't get to make fart jokes at a table. You know what I mean?
If there are those of you listening to this who are melting tar and collecting feathers, just calm down. Just go to the bathroom, remove your tampon gently.
Put away your pitches and torches. Pitchforks and torches. Yeah, sorry.
Put away your pitches.
Are you that devil from fucking the Spanish Santa Claus movie?
Bitches be pitches, yo.
Yo. Hashtag
word.
Shit.
Son.
Hashtag
YOLO.
Shit is sound.
Swag.
YOLO.
Hashtag panel denied.
Ultimately, hashtag panel denied. But again, no animosity, no bad feelings, so guys, don't take any of this in that way. We're just making this clear so that way nobody goes to G-Fest thinking that we're going to have a panel there, and ultimately we're not. But again, you should still definitely go, not just on our behalf, but just on the fact that it's a damn good convention. So
we're going to go, we're going to be cool, quietly make fun of whoever got our room.
Oh yeah, we're going to do that. We're definitely going to do that. But we're not going to do it in an asshole. I mean, we'll do it in an asshole way, quietly to ourselves in our hotel room.
In the back of the fucking audience. Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Although I think we should have to at least give credit to our contact. We won't reveal his or her name, but we just want to give a great big public thank you because without him we wouldn't have even had it was like we have no animosity towards him or her at all whatsoever. We greatly appreciate what he or she tried to do for us in the first place. I mean, this person really loved what we do, and he or she was trying to share the magic of SOS, the G-Fest.
You don't.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
You totally fucked up and said his.
But this person really stuck his or her neck out for us. But we thank you very much.
I had to thank you so much. You really came through for us, and it's not. Ultimately, it's just a matter of creative differences and differences in terms of what we want to do. So, it's really nobody's fault. It's probably for the best that this is the way it turned out. So, ultimately, I think it turned out for the best. So, no bad feelings. And with all that said, I think we should get on with the show and just continue to make this show as best as we possibly can, as entertaining as possible, and just try to keep on doing what we want because even if not everyone agrees with the way we do business, we're going to keep doing it as our business. So that's our mantra from now on. We're going to make this a great show. Please keep on listening to us and supporting us. You guys are awesome. So let's keep it on and get on with the show. So anyway, vaginas. How are they, boys?
I personally think they're disgusting.
I know. Well, let's get the variety of opinions out there. So Dylan and I found out what specifically a vulva is. Because I had a vague...
During the Christmas special, me and Andreas laughed our asses off at Bill because the way he presented it, it seemed as though he didn't know what a vulva was at all. Now, I knew it was a part of the vagina. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, hang on. You didn't even get that far. You were like, it's got something to do with the female genitalia, Bill. And then I was like, that's about as much as I knew.
No, I said it's part of the vagina. I just don't know. I just didn't know exactly where it was. Apparently, it's the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, it's just the whole general package.
It's the show, basically. The thing that's right there when you see it.
It's just the whole shebang. It's just the whole she-bang. Get it? Ba-doom bang. I love you too, Adam.
Go die.
I will. In 70 years.
Yeah.
Probably 15. No, you know what? I'm going to give myself 30 with the way I eat.
Very, very slowly.
I'm going to slowly just build up them fat muscles and, my pancreas won't work anymore and it'll Did I say fat muscles?
Yes.
You did.
Oh, I meant to say cells.
But I'm going to build up my fat muscles.
I mean, I guess that's kind of true.
It's not.
The muscle, my fat has fat, I guess.
Listen, man, unless you are a sumo wrestler, there is no such thing as fat muscles.
Or the Kingpin from Marvel's comics.
True.
But also, fat and muscle are they're completely different aspects of the human body.
One is made out of fat cells, and the other one's made out of protein. So I'm not really sure how you thought it was the same thing.
Fats and proteins are two completely different aspects of human biological chemistry. So it's the muscle, and then it's a layer of fat. So everybody's got fat. It's just a matter of the social...
It's a matter of how you use it.
Yeah, it's a matter of how you use your fat.
And what happens is you take in...
Whether it be for good or for evil.
You take in too much fucking sugar, and then your body's like, I gotta store this somewhere. I'll turn it into fat.
So right now, personally, I think I'm at more of like a Punisher level of like being an anti-hero fat person, where it's like I'm not really good or evil, but I dip more towards the evil. You know what I mean? Because I haven't gotten to I've never like busted like a pair of I've never ripped a hole in my pants, but well, actually that's not true. I did that once.
For more information on the subject, go watch the clip from South Park in which the devil explains addiction to Stan.
I did actually. It wasn't pants.
It really was.
It wasn't actually a pair. I ripped a pair of shorts once, and that was pretty embarrassing. I was in 7th grade, and I was trying to open my locker, and I was struggling, and I bent down and just.
Just a fool who went and ripped his pants.
I want to say this is a bit of trivia for you guys, just because I've been doing some research on some of because I asked a question on Bill's live show, and just some food for thoughts. I asked the question on Bill's live show, what is the #1 movie that you want to see of Ishiro Honda that you haven't seen yet, directed by Ishiro Honda that I haven't seen yet, and I wanted to say that my answer goes to The Human Vapor overall.
I mentioned that one, yeah.
However, I just discovered that The Human Vapor was actually kind of a ripoff of a movie made of the previous year by Toho called The Secret of the Telegian. Anyways, Jun Fukuda directed it. And
really?
Yeah. And
when did Human Vapor come out? What year was that?
61.
Okay.
And then this movie came out in 1960.
But Toho made both movies, or no?
Yes.
They did?
Toho made both movies. And they both have a lot of, regular, Ishiro Honda-esque actors.
All right, here's my immediate question.
How well... Last year. Let's rip it off.
How well did the first one do at the box office?
I don't know. It doesn't say. But I'm really interested in seeing this because Jun Fukuda directed it, and apparently Jun Fukuda really heavily liked making this movie. So I'm just wondering if the quality of this film, because I watched a trailer for it, and I can actually send it to you guys if you wish.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds cool. Is it more of a comedy or?
No, it looks like a serious movie.
Sorry.
I don't think there's any subtitles, so please forgive me, but just at least check it out. Yeah. Have you guys seen the trailers for The Human Vapor?
No.
I'll send another one for The Human Vapor just so you guys can kind of compare.
Yeah, let's do well, you know what? Let's watch the Human Vapor first.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's the one we're more familiar with.
It is. It's arguably the more familiar one. It's just so interesting.
It's way more.
It's just so interesting seeing these two kind of almost rivals in terms of how they make films, making almost the exact same looking movie.
Yeah. I mean,
only a year apart.
The two most kind of iconic directors of Godzilla movies.
Of the Showa Godzilla, definitely.
Yeah. So, all right, well, hang on. Let me know when you guys are at 0-0.
We're watching the Vapor first, you said?
Human Vapors first.
Okay.
Everybody at 0-0?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Dylan?
Hold on.
It's a very lengthy trailer, like 2.5 minutes long.
Well, that's normal trailer length back then.
Yeah,
right. For that thing they used to
Friggin' the one for the Mysterians was 3.5 minutes.
You know that
Granted,
thing
they were trying to sell
like,
that. I know that they were trying to sell the Mysterians as like this huge epic. I know that's what they were trying to paint it as.
A classic movie trailer is almost like an episode of DBZ Abridged. It's like, let's just tell you the whole story really short.
Yeah. All right, well, hang on. So in 3... Oh, by the way, this will be in the description. So you can check these out and watch them with us. So in 3, 2, 1, play. Toho scope.
That's always a good sign. Oh.
It is. It really is. And if any of you notice that the guy who plays the Human Vapor plays none other than Shindo from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and the Exilian leader in Invasion of the Astro Monster.
The faces this man is making.
Is that guy?
Yep. And also, it's interesting to note that apparently Ishiro Honda considers both the Human Vapor and Matango Attack of the Mushroom People his two favorite movies that he's directed.
Oh, really? Okay.
Not Godzilla.
I can see that, though, because Godzilla was his first movie, and first movie.
Well, it was his first. It wasn't his first movie. He directed some war movies before that, apparently. But it was very experimental.
Yeah. Oh, big time. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was pretty stressed out on that set, though, because it was the second most expensive movie in Japan ever made at that time.
Yeah, it was between that and Seven Samurai, both being made by Toho in studios right next to each other.
So I'm pretty sure he was freaking out, like, oh god, what if this bombs?
Yeah.
I really need to learn Japanese.
Why don't you turn on?
I'm seeing the Honda look here, and I'm liking it.
I want to know what these...
I kind of know what they're talking about. I mean, I've heard enough Japanese to know kind of what they're talking about. It is interesting to see that in this film there's a lot of non-Ishiro Honda extras or cast.
I've only seen.
I mean, there's definitely a few of them. Like, what was it, Teki? No, sorry, the guy who plays Shindo, of course.
The guy in the first shot I recognized.
Well, yeah, he's in a lot of
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton though. This one looks pretty.
I've seen the American cut, which the American cut's like nearly 15 minutes shorter, apparently, and that was on a horribly badly cropped VHS.
But apparently, the guy who actually played the Human Vapor actually likes the American version better.
Apparently, and I'm curious because I really didn't like the American cut that much.
His point, I think, was that he thought his characterization was stronger.
Well, I know that he had a narrator in the American version, and in the Japanese version there is no narrator. I mean, that's just a common thing with Japanese movies. It was that
back in the early days, that's all they did with Japanese movies was narrate them.
Narrate them. So that was the Human Vapor, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, pretty. That's a Honda movie to a T. So let's check out this.
Check out this Secrets of the Telegian Man. Telegian. Evangelion?
Before we jump into this, what are we thinking? Human Vapor. It looks pretty like a sci-fi crime movie.
It looks like, and again, just because I've seen the American cut, though apparently the American cut really doesn't do the Japanese version credit. It felt to me very much like it was what he originally wanted to do with the H-Man.
Yeah, because this does feel a lot like the H-Man, but without the horror elements.
Because apparently the H-Man was, and I found this out after we did our chat, Andres, a long time ago. I found out that Ishiro Honda originally, it was just supposed to be a crime movie. Mm-hmm. And at the last second, they said, no, we want to make it a kaiju movie. Or like a kind of like...
monster movie.
Yeah, a monster movie. And...
sci-fi monster.
And, of course, that Ishiro Honda fell into that reign a lot. I mean, look at Dogora.
Yeah,
Dogara's pretty bad if you look.
He always
you could clearly tell that he wanted to make another movie.
Yeah. He always tried to do his best, but he clearly wanted to get away from the monster movies.
King Kong, cough, cough.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think anybody had a good time making that movie.
You know who seems like they might have had a good time? Doctor Who.
He looked like he had some fun.
Anybody playing villains in a bad movie is always like, this is just the best.
This is the greatest thing ever.
He almost strikes me as like a Japanese Ernest Thesiger.
So, hang on. So it's like, it's very Honda-esque in terms of the kind of colorful grime that it gives off. Very much, it seems very reminiscent of kind of how Ghidorah looks in terms of like the
kind of grain. It looks
that kind of grainy,
color.
But still vibrant colors. It looks very much so.
And another thing that I find interesting about Secret of the Telegian Man, as you watch this trailer, you will see that there's more Ishiro Honda regulars in this movie than in The Human Vapor.
So with that said, let's jump into that then. So you guys at 0-0?
Do you ever find out what the secret is of the Telegian Man, I wonder? Or is
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Or is
the secret's not all that interesting. It's like TMNT Secret of the Ooze.
I was about to make that comparison. The title's kind of a misnomer because
it's not really a secret as much as
the plot synopsis on both IMDb and Wikipedia suck ass. So
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, come on, the Japanese aren't always honest with these movie titles. I mean, Destroy All Monsters, my ass.
Only one monster dies in that movie.
Ghidra. You know.
Yeah. So
let's watch this fucker.
Let's jump in. So in 3, 2, 1, play. Toho scope again.
Again with a scream. And
wow, they kind of open a similar way. We got a narrator this time. Camera's moving a lot more in this one.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something Jun Fukuda did. Was he always liked to keep the cameras moving because he thought it'd be more interesting.
Yeah, it looks more modern than the Honda movie. Not that I'm saying that's a better thing. I'm just saying it comes off as more of like a modern day heist movie.
Whereas like Honda feels more like a classic.
Are you noticing that the color palette of the movie?
Hey, look who it is!
Hey, where's that eye patch? Put that eye patch on right now.
It's the scientist from Ultraman.
Oh wow, all three of these guys are from Godzilla.
They're Ishiro Honda regulars.
Yeah.
First off, I love the framing of that shot with them standing by the table. Oh, love that framing of that shot.
The guy in the back is familiar too.
She's from The Human Vapor.
Is that Akira Takarada?
No.
Are you telling me that guy is from Godzilla and he's not just the scientist from Ultraman?
Who's the guy on the right? He looks so familiar.
First off, I honestly think the visual effects look a lot better in this movie than they do in the...
well, they're more complex. I agree.
Yeah, I love that shot with the lightning on the dude's head and like the...
This movie looks honestly better to me. I would rather watch this movie.
I know. This movie captured my interest more. But
it's certainly a better trailer. Let's just say that.
You see, like, there's a lot more stuff going on here, like a lot more activity in every shot.
I like the
also,
first,
I have to admit, because I have the soundtrack now on my computer, soundtrack's a lot better, too.
Oh, God, this soundtrack's badass.
I did like the first, like, half minute of, like, the other trailer, though, because it was very ominous.
Yeah. Well, Human Vapor
Look at the effects on this.
Human Vapor strikes me way more as a monster movie. This seems more like a heist movie.
Which is kind of funny, because apparently the plot is literally about this disfigured World War II soldier, who was basically, it says here he was robbed and left for dead by his fellow soldiers. It's him trying to get his revenge on them.
I'm liking this stuff.
I want to see this, damn it.
I would watch the fuck out of this movie. They're playing this movie in theaters now. I'd be like, let's just fucking go.
First off, props to, you know how much, like, fucking tracing and tracking that fucking effects would... Oh, my God. Yeah.
Also, that effect is going to be way harder to pull off if you're moving the camera as much as he was. And he was moving the camera a lot. Even in the shot
there's that shot where you see the Japanese soldier grab the bayonet and is about to stab that guy who's, like, laying on a bed or cowering. And it follows him and traces him. I'm like, how the fuck did they do that?
And it's not like it's not like the guy's always standing still when the effects are happening either. He's, like, turning around and, like, moving and shit.
But yeah, this one strikes me way more as an action movie.
Yeah, this definitely looks like an action film. Do you see the parallels, though?
Oh, it's like the same movie. It is.
Yeah.
I'm sure the details are different, but it is basically they're both crime heist movies, definitely, and they're both about a guy in a trench coat turning invisible and killing.
It's
people.
almost like it would be so cool. This is one of those examples of like, what if we took a script, the same exact script, and gave it to two directors? Like, let's say we gave one to Peter Jackson, and then we gave one to like Steven Spielberg, and watch what happens.
Yep. They're doing a show on, what is it, HBO right now, where it's like that, where they took two directors from two completely different worlds. One of them is like a very old school, classically trained film director, and then the other one's a guy who came from YouTube, and they gave them the same script and just said to go out and shoot it. And
that sounds really interesting.
I don't know if it's on yet. It's on, I think it's on, it's either Showtime or HBO.
I would be very much so willing to check that out.
But yeah, I agree. This almost comes off like they gave John Fukuda and Ishiro Honda the same script and said, go off and make
almost the same script. I can tell you this right now, is I believe that Ishiro Honda's movie is more, what's the word I was looking for?
Probably more character-driven.
It's probably more character-driven.
But, again, I think The Secret of the Telegian Man has a better trailer, but I don't know if the movie's better. Though it certainly comes off as more. I would rather watch that.
Well, the Human Vapor, the guy who turns into the Human Vapor, really is. He was a librarian who gets in a freak accident, and this is what happens. And he basically the Vapor starts turning him mad. And the same thing happens here. Whatever happened to that Japanese guy, the soldier who died, the powers that he is given starts driving him mad. And it's like, these are so similar in their styles, or in their plots, that I can't help but just be like, did one bomb and then they tried to give it to another guy just to see what would happen?
Hang on, I'm checking the writers right now. Oh, that's really interesting. Speaking of Godzilla alums, guess who wrote Secret of the Telegian?
Who?
Shinkichi Sekizawa.
Really?
And then the guy who wrote The Human Vapor, I don't know, I've never seen before. Something Kitamura.
Shinkichi Sekizawa, cool.
Something
the guy who
what?
wrote the Human Vapor is Takashi Kimura, who wrote like Frankenstein Conquers the World, War of the Gargantuas, King Kong Escapes, and Godzilla vs. Hedorah.
Okay.
Oh,
so
he also wrote Rodan and the Mysterians.
Oh.
Was a member of the Japanese Communist Party. There we go.
okay. Well,
so
hang on.
That adds a lot of credibility to him right there.
So, but it comes off to me a lot more like a Rodan than it does like a Godzilla, like a Gojira, in terms of the Human Vapor. Very kind of quiet. I mean, how long in Rodan does it take to get to Rodan?
It
takes a while.
It's over half the movie.
And it's more about the kind of smaller creatures, and I think Rodan is one of Honda's more character-driven kaiju movies.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
You've
got all that stuff about like the way that everybody looks like they look down their nose at his lover, and it's way more about, when you get down to it, it's a movie about a small town, about a mining community going through some shit. And the monster stuff just kind of happens that incites all of that. And that's really, really interesting, and that's why Rodan is so good. So I would imagine that the Human Vapor is closer to that, and that The Secret of the Telegian is more of the kind of...
I can definitely say this just looking at the trailer, and I'm not just saying this as like, the trailer just showed all the action parts. No, there's clearly a shit ton more action in The Secret of the Telegian Man.
It almost seems more like... So if we're going to compare them to The Invisible Man, it almost seems like The Human Vapor is the original, and then The Secret of the Telegian... Did I say the H-Man? I meant The Human Vapor. The Human Vapor is more like the original Claude Rains movie, and then Secret of the Telegian is more like the sequels to it, where Vincent Price was the Invisible Man.
The Invisible Agent.
What was that?
The Invisible Agent.
The Invisible Agent. What are you talking about?
The Invisible... Wasn't that a movie?
Probably. I've never heard of it. Well, to compare it to the books then, because this is going to make more sense then. Human Vapor is the H.G. Wells novel, and The Secret of the Telegian is The Murderer Invisible.
Yeah, the Invisible Agent from 1942. They basically the plot is scientists make an agent, an allied spy, invisible, so that he can strike back at the Nazis.
I remember this, and this is technically in the Invisible Man series too.
Yeah.
Most of the Invisible Man sequels, aside from the second one, really don't have anything to do with the original, and are kind of a completely different genre. But anyway. But the Murderer, it's interesting because the original Invisible Man, they bought the rights to the H.G. Wells book and then were frantically trying to get his approval for it. But they also wanted to make it more of a kind of monster action movie. So they also bought the rights to The Murderer Invisible, which is more of an action movie and more of like an epic because the guy, he's a psychopath. He tries to, There's a scene where he tries to turn a whole legion of plague rats invisible and just like let them down on New York City. So they kind of mix those in the Invisible Man because like he's taking down trains and fucking sending dudes over cliffs. So it almost seems to me like The Secret of the Telegian and The Human Vapor kind of have a similar relationship between those two books and those two different aspects of the original movie. It's like you got the more action-oriented one and the more character-driven one. But again, that's just based on the trailers.
This looks very much so... Oh, go ahead, Dylan. I'm sorry.
Now we just need a Japanese remake that's more reminiscent of the Hollow Man.
Oh.
Nobody wants that, though. I mean, listen, Kevin Bacon, I'm down. Josh Brolin, not so much.
Bill, just because you're working with me on my new movie, or at least I assume you are.
I don't know. Is it going to be Pussy?
Oh, of course try.
I'm kidding.
I just want to say that the style of The Secret of Telegian Man, in terms of visually, is more of what I want my film to kind of look like.
All right, I can go for that. That sounds cool. But I can't believe how much better those special effects are.
Well, I wouldn't call them better. I'd just say more complex than the Human Vapor had to be. Because there are some really intense visual effects scenes on the Human Vapor, Bill.
Again, I'd have to. This is based on the trailers, but.
Apparently the translated Japanese title is The Teleporting Man. So maybe Telegian was some kind of mistranslation. So really, it's Secret of the Teleporter or something, you know.
So it's like fucking Terror of Godzilla, where the American title is a complete lie.
Yes.
Godzilla's only in 2 scenes, and he's doing it to save the world. He's not really terrorizing anyone. Where it's like fucking King Kong and the Demons from Outer Space. Where none of those
holy
things
shit! They were released the same year.
Oh, were they really?
Shit. Yeah.
How far apart?
I'm gonna find that out. December 11th, 1960 was when The Human Vapor was released. And I need to go back.
That was The Human Vapor. December 1960.
The question is, who won?
Yeah, it's like a Battle of the Bonds type situation. It's like, well, Octopussy and Never Say Never Again. Both movies suck, but which one ultimately is better? And it's like,
Secret of the Telegian Man was released April 10th of 1960. So Secret of the Telegian Man was released first.
May, June, July, August, September, October, November. It's 8 months apart. Wow.
I don't guess we can...
So just about a movie length. Just about how long it took to make a normal length of one of these movies, which usually took anywhere from 2 to 6 months. Depends on how big it was.
So, that movie came out and Honda was like, hey, I wanted to make an Invisible Man movie. And they were like, so
fuck
you can. He's like, fuck you, I'm doing it. And all of his actors were like...
and even more bit of trivia, this was Jun Fukuda's second movie.
What was his first?
I don't know how to pronounce this. May 1959, whatever it was.
All right. So his first 2 movies were 59 and 60. Now that's really interesting, though. I never knew that. Jun Fukuda is a good director.
Yeah. Well, he's more of an action director. You can easily say that.
Action comedy, yeah. He seems to be more. I would say, and this might be completely wrong, he almost seems to be a little bit more mainstream than Ishiro Honda.
Well, he was definitely, judging by like his previous film list, I've never seen him, but a lot of them are listed as comedies. And, or
not so much comedies, but like very character-driven comedies. And that's part of the reason why he never liked his Godzilla movies. Is because, one, he was never a fan of Godzilla, because it just wasn't his style. And two, because they never let him do what he needed to do to make them. I mean, let's look at Godzilla vs. Megalon.
He barely had anything to do with, like he was basically, like, they paid him to make sure it got made, basically.
Essentially,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how Toho operated, though. They were like, all right, director, just make sure it happens, and it happens, in terms of our budget and the way we want it. And that was about it. I mean, sadly, that's kind of what happened with Ishiro Honda, like King Kong Escapes. It was just like, this is what we want, this is what we think will make money.
Have you guys seen the trailer for The Three Treasures, or a.k.a. The Birth of Japan?
Three Treasures. Was that also, that had Orochi in it, right?
I think so. This is the original one.
I have the bootleg of it, but I have yet to watch it.
Oh, I want to see it so fucking bad, Andres.
Well, hang on, for those of us misinformed, what is this?
Is this also the one that had the frog in it, or is that a different one? There's some movie that has...
That's the Magic Serpent.
Ah, right.
Not a Toho film.
When I was a kid, was it Dai?
I'm pretty sure.
This is Toho. This was Toho's 1000th movie.
No, I think Bill was Bill was referring to the Magic Serpent, Adam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Magic Serpent a Dai movie?
No, I'm pretty sure it's like some one-off kaiju film made by some like.
Well, because I remember when I was really young. I'm talking like maybe 7. I was in a DVD store that does not exist anymore. I forget the name. I think it was called I don't even remember the name, but it was in the basement of the mall that's in my town.
Yeah, let me guess. Did you saw was it a DVD 2-pack of Gamera vs. Gals and the Magic Serpent?
Well, I just remember it was called Gamera the Magic Serpent.
Yeah, that's it. Let me look for I've seen that before. Let me look for it.
And I got so close to buying it because I was so fucking excited. And I looked at the back and I was like, I already own this movie and I don't care about the Magic Serpent. And I ended up buying, this is when they still sold VHSs at stores. So this was,
oh God.
It was probably about 2000, I would say.
Was this it, Bill?
I don't know. I'm not looking at it.
There's no way you were 7 in 2000.
No, I could. Yeah, this is it. That's
okay.
Definitely it. I remember seeing this and like, I want to buy this. And I never bought it. There was also a Godzilla DVD that, in the same vein, it's like, I remember it so vividly in my mind.
The Magic Serpent was from Toei.
Toei?
Oh?
Yeah, Toei.
Oh, cool. See, I thought it was Nikatsu.
Nikatsu, they made X from Outer Space, right?
No, that was Shochiku.
Right.
Which is so funny because Shochiku made movies such as like Tokyo Story. They tried to get into the kaiju horror fan thing, and Criterion just released like a trilogy pack of the 3 movies that they made, trying to jump onto the kaiju bandwagon. One of them being the X from Outer Space, by the way, Andres. But they never took off like they did for Dai and Toho and definitely Toei. Nikatsu tried to do the same thing. Nikatsu was known for their crime dramas directed by Seijun Suzuki, such as Tokyo Drifter, which I love that movie. And he's also the guy that I'm dedicating my current movie, Which Way They Walk, to. Plug. And also, they released Gappa.
Oh, all right. I knew they sounded familiar.
Yeah, Nikatsu released Gappa, and they hired Akira Watanabe to do the visual effects for it. And Akira Watanabe was the assistant director for the original Godzilla, and worked with Ishiro Honda. I mean, worked with Eiji Tsuburaya on almost everything up until the mid-'60s.
Okay. All right.
Seriously, though, The Three Treasures of Japan, probably one of the most epic-looking Japanese movies I've ever seen. Like, you just look at it, it screams epic.
What is this movie again? It's a crime movie?
No. It's a kind of like, what was it? It's a fantasy movie based on
Birth of
Japanese
Japan.
It's a fantasy movie based on Japanese mythology.
Directed by Hiroshi Inagaki.
And it features
an all-star cast like Toshiro Mifune, just about every fucking
just about every single person who's ever been in a Godzilla movie ever is in it. Showa Godzilla movie is in it.
It's based on the same myth that Orochi the Eight-Headed Dragon is, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Orochi the Eight-Headed Dragon is a remake, essentially.
Yeah. So essentially, there are two Toho movies with the kaiju Orochi.
Oh, those effects are pretty fucking good.
This movie is huge, without a doubt. And Akira Ifukube did the music for it. Well, Hiroshi Inagaki is basically, I've always called him, or I've started calling him the David Lean of Japan, because...
Those are some mighty strong words there, Adam.
I know, I completely stand by him, because if you ever watch any of Hiroshi Inagaki's film, they all have huge casts. I mean, not just in terms of numbers, but I mean in terms of who plays in the movies. Look at Chushingura, which Patrick Galvin tells me I need to keep watching, and I haven't watched it yet, and I still really fucking want to watch it. And then they've also got huge, hundreds upon hundreds of extras. None of his movies are, small, or the ones that he's known for are small. They're all epics. And you know how much I like my epics.
Well, just watching a little bit of this trailer here, it's not really my thing, but it does look really cool. But, I'm just not really a big sword and sorcery type dude. So that's why I haven't really been clamoring to watch Orochi, despite being one of the few Heisei kaiju movies, because it's a sword and sorcery type movie.
Right.
And Andre says it's not that good either.
It's very average in terms of the story and characters. The effects are, I guess, impressive by Heisei special effects standards.
I mean, I've seen the scene where that sun god thing, whose name I can never remember, shows up and fights Orochi, and it looks pretty fucking awesome, huh?
Ikusagami, yeah.
Kawakita did those effects, right?
I think so. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Although it kind of features, interestingly enough, there's this, metal bird in that movie. And if you thought that the Rodan animatronic puppet was, stiff in Mechagodzilla 2, this one just knocks that one out of the park. It's just, how, immobile it is.
I never thought the Rodan animatronics were too bad.
Oh, I did. Oh, I thought they were pretty bad.
Me too.
I'm really interested in this, having recently watched the Daimajin trilogy. It's sort of the same mixture.
Yeah, well, the trailer looks interesting. I'm watching the official trailer for it, and it's got the dude from who plays the head
Katagiri?
guy of he plays Katagiri. Yeah, he's in it. He's so hot.
Yeah.
You're talking about Orochi. Yeah, he's in that. I knew that. And also the guy who was
he looks like he's straight out of an anime.
That guy who was not Indiana Jones in Godzilla Mothra Battle for Earth is in it as well. Plays the main hero, I think.
I just got to say, judging by this trailer, I want to say that The Birth of Japan, made in 1961, looks more impressive, to be honest.
Well, I remember when I first saw it, I think I was talking to one of you guys. I just said, so it's Star Wars, right? And then whoever was talking was like, yeah, it's Star Wars. Because I was like, Star Wars. They got lasers shooting and shit.
There was another movie directed by Kinji Fukusaku, who directed The Green Slime. And a lot of the special effects heavy Japanese sequences on the film Tora Tora Tora.
I so want to just start singing that song right now.
Green Slime! Still love that movie to death. However, he directed a movie made in 1980, called Virus. And I've talked about this movie quite a bit before on both Facebook and on some of my videos. But basically, it's just about a virus that kills everybody on Earth. And the movie was the most expensive movie to come from Japan until the 1990s, I believe, with Akira Kurosawa. But it was a huge bomb. A huge bomb. If you want to watch it, there's two cuts. There's the American public domain cut that is an hour and 45 minutes, and then there's the Japanese cut, which is 2.5 hours. And one cut is way too fast, and one cut is way too slow. But
can never find a balance.
But I've never been more iffy on a movie, I think, ever, because a part of me really likes it, but yet another part of me is like, yeah, but that kind of sucks.
Talking about Virus?
Yes. And Orochi the Eight-Headed Dragon kind of is making... I kind of getting that vibe from it. Because it looks really... Yeah.
You're talking about the 1994 movie.
I'm always going to... I will refer to the 1961 version as The Birth of Japan, since that's the title of it. And Orochi the Eight-Headed Dragon, I'll refer to the one in 1994. Yeah.
Even funny enough, the Japanese name is referred to the movie is referred to as Yamato Takaru, named after the protagonist of the story.
Oh, cool. I know that Toshiro Mifune plays Yamato in Birth of Japan.
Oh, so it is kind of the same movie, the same story with the same characters,
except without a mech.
Which is a huge mistake.
So Yamato Takaru, he ends up obtaining I guess special objects that give him this power to transform into this thing called Ikusagami,
which would make a great television series.
In fact, interestingly enough, I seem to have come across an anime about a year ago that maybe might have been inspired, or maybe it was made by Toho. I'm not sure, but it's like an anime with, I guess, another character also named Yamato Takaru, and he has this like giant metal giant following him that kind of looks like Ikusagami. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I think it may have had its own like Wikipedia page. I'll try to find it again, but yeah, it's like it's funny. Like, yeah,
this trailer makes it look like Power Rangers.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm watching the fight.
Kind of reminds me, except for
I might like it then.
Except for the giant monster scenes, the other effects in it kind of remind me of the Mortal Kombat movies from the 90s.
We're talking about Orochi right now, right?
Yeah. Orochi.
It does look like Mortal Kombat. It does. It looks like
Mortal Kombat meets Power Rangers. That's what I'm thinking.
It looks like
description.
Actually, I kind of see it as like I kind of see it as like Japanese Clash of the Titans meets Power Rangers, because again, it's that whole like bringing mythology into like a big budget spectacle sort of way.
Remake.
What is your opinion on Clash of the Titans, by the way, Andre?
Shit.
The original?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well, I have a lot of nostalgic. I have a lot of nostalgia for me. I have a lot of nostalgia for that movie because I saw it at a young age. It was one of the first Harryhausen films I ever saw. I love the special effects. I love the story. Sure, the acting can get hammy at times, but I guess considering how over the top and ridiculous the story is, I thought it just matched with it.
It's my bad, by the way. Birth of Japan was made in 1959, not 1961, so my bad.
I adore the original Clash of the Titans, and the remake can go fuck itself.
I liked the remake when I first saw it, and then I stopped.
From what I've heard, the sequel to the remake might be better than the remake itself, so I might check out the
David
sequel.
says he enjoys it, but I saw the trailer and I was like, the best thing I can say about this is that I have a better appreciation for Marilyn Manson's versions of Sweet Dreams. And that's about it.
They butchered the Medusa scene. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So bad. I mean, I remember, I said this to somebody, I was like, I remember watching the Medusa scene in the original and being legitimately frightened, and then the scene in the remake did not contain any of that.
At all. Yeah, you're right. Oh, by the way, Phil, everyone, here is a link to the Orochi scene from the original Birth of Japan made in 1959. And I have to say, for 1959, the visual effects are quite impressive.
Oh yeah, I saw this in the trailer. Yeah, they are pretty good. But
I really want to see this movie in good quality.
This Yamato Takaru anime seems really generic.
Yeah. And yeah, that is indeed I just found out that is the title of the anime, Yamato Takaru. So I'm assuming it's just like, again, they take that same mythology, and I assume they just turned into an anime, and I guess they took that giant from the movie. I'm not sure where this giant came from.
Hang on, this is based on an actual Japanese story.
This is based on the Birth of Japan. This is their mythology says Birth of Japan.
Yamato Takaru is basically Jesus.
You know what's
They're
interesting
just-
about this anime, Andres? The human characters look kind of like something out of like old school Dragon Ball, but then the mechs look like they're from Gundam. It's an interesting combination.
Is anybody else getting flashes of King Kong versus Godzilla from this scene in terms of a giant monster drinking and falling asleep?
No.
What are you watching?
That clip I
I'm
sent.
watching this. Somebody just sent me a clip of this dragon like drinking shit out of a cup and it falls asleep.
And then it turns into Toshiro Mifune fighting a dragon. How can you beat that? This clip is I think towards the end of the movie. It's actually really impressive looking at all the fucking extras they have in it. And it mixed in with all these visual effects.
Well, there's one thing I want to say about Clash of the Titans before we get too far away from that. You know the guy who gets cursed by Zeus to become like a monster?
Oh, Calibus, yeah.
So in the original movie, they did a mix of the guy with makeup and a mix of stop motion.
And it was almost seamlessly, like, I mean, of course it can't be seamless.
Yeah.
But
I mean, in a modern
wonderfully
context, it's not.
Some of
But
Harryhausen,
really wonderfully done.
some of Harryhausen's finest, like having to match a stop motion puppet to the movements of a live action actor.
So good.
And it's really elaborate. The dude looks horrifying. And they really go all out with the monster effects. So the one thing that you think they're going to do in the remake in order to make that kind of transition better into a modern context is to marry those two things. Keep the actor's performance, but also keep the monstrous kind of look of the character.
Nope.
And they pussied out so much with that. He doesn't even look like a monster in the new one. He looks like a guy who fell in some mud and then gets pissed and fights fucking Perseus.
I don't even remember. I didn't even remember him from the remake, and I saw like a couple years ago.
You know what he kind of looks like to me? He looks like the way Jason Voorhees looks like in Friday the 13th Part 2 when he busts through that window.
Talking about the remake, right?
Yeah, the way Calibus looks in that fucking movie. Like, he looks kind of like that.
Such a watered-down version.
And he's only got like one horn on his head instead of the two.
Yeah. I don't think he has a tail, and this is based on, a long... I haven't seen this movie in years. He doesn't even have a tail. They just really pussied out. And it's like you had the perfect opportunity to keep that over-monstrous look, but then also keep the actor's performance by using CGI.
They completely changed the giant scorpions, like their place in the story and what they even do.
They're basically cars.
They took out the mechanical owl and made it a joke.
I mean, they make reference to it, but it's so...
It's extremely condescending towards the whole concept of Bupo.
Doesn't somebody say, "Oh, this is so"? Doesn't he go like, "Oh, this is"?
One of the visual effects from the original that I thought always get overlooked, and I remember listening to how hard apparently it was to actually pull it off, was when Hera's head falls off from the statue, and it falls down, and suddenly Hera's face comes to life, and it's the actress who plays her. Who plays Professor McGonagall.
Maggie's.
Oh, yeah!
And it's not Hera, it's Thetis, goddess of the sea.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. No. Was it really? I thought it was Hera.
Thetis. No, Hera is the one who's up there with the little tiara on her head in the scenes where the gods are on Olympus, but Maggie Smith is playing Thetis.
Oh! Okay, I haven't seen this movie forever. I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
Since I have it right on DVD. I'll watch it when I get back.
The last time I rewatched it was when the remake came out, just to get prepared.
What a big mistake.
Which was probably a mistake. But
I also loved how much character Harryhausen managed to give Pegasus.
Yeah, which is another thing.
That's completely gone in the remake.
Yeah, oh,
he's in what?
What they did with Pegasus. First off, Pegasus, call me a racist all you want, Pegasus is white. And then secondly...
That seemed like the most pointless... That seems like such the most pointless change in the world to me to make.
Yeah,
why have it be a black horse? I don't understand why even.
Because black horses are cooler for the new generation.
No, it's like, what is that movie? The fucking is it called Black Stallion?
I actually want to say it is.
Yeah, there is a movie called The Black Stallion, and unfortunately it's not a blaxploitation film.
Yeah, I think
Then you should love El Rey, because they play those all the time.
Oh, I need to find out what channel that fucking is.
But maybe that's the reason why they made Pegasus black, was to fucking make it line up with that. I think it won an Oscar or some shit.
I really want to watch fucking Coffee.
Big movie. Was that?
I really want to watch fucking Coffee. I saw a trailer for Coffee recently.
Oh my god, that movie is so...
And it was like
oh my.
a chick with drive who don't take no jab. I was like, I want to see this movie.
That's a great fucking tagline. Oh, hang on. What I was trying to say about the original Clash of the Titans is that probably the worst effect in the movie, in my opinion, is Poseidon waking up the Kraken. He goes down into the water, and you just see him like on this blue screen, like walking through the water, and it's really obviously a blue screen.
Right.
But then it doesn't matter because I love the next sequence where he wakes up the Kraken and you don't see it, and then you see just the wave, and it's kind of this weird microcosm of what the Greek gods were. They were ways of explaining things that happened in nature. And you've got this monster, this sea monster.
It's so funny because the Kraken isn't even Greek.
No.
No, that's right. Yeah, what is it, Swedish?
No, in the original myth, it's a Leviathan or something, isn't it? It's not-
Yes.
Well, it doesn't even look like the way it looks in the movie.
But then, granted, then we wouldn't have gotten the great two lines by both Laurence Olivier and Liam Neeson going, "Release the Kraken!"
Who both
Yeah.
did it
Who both
amazing.
did it like, oh shit, shit's gonna
Olivier's-
get fucked. First off, picking Laurence Olivier as Zeus is a great fucking...
Olivier
It is just as
so much.
genius.
Olivier is so much better at being Zeus.
Yeah, he is, because
and I
Laurence
love
Olivier...
I love me some
And
Liam
I love
Neeson.
Liam Neeson, but when I see Liam Neeson, I see like a war god. When I see Laurence Olivier, I see somebody who's very smart and very tactful. And like, you don't want to fuck with him at all, or else he's going to kill you.
Also-
Like he fucking killed that guy who put them to sea at the beginning. Yeah.
The original movie is so much more indignant of actual Greek mythology to me, just because Harryhausen always went with a more classical look. Whereas, nowadays they want to like reimagine everything, and that's fine. It's just not.
Everything's got to be like metal and like edgy.
It's
Yeah,
not-
right,
it's,
right.
It's fine, whatever. It's just not what I picture when I think Greek.
Well, no, it's just like that style is great and I love it, but it doesn't work with that story.
Yeah, I
It's
just don't. I'm getting a little, to be honest. This is just not my opinion. You can disagree with it all you want. I'm personally getting just a little bit tired of that kind of edgy kind of look. I kind of want to go back to that kind of classic kind of looking,
That's why I like Interstellar so much.
Interstellar looked fucking fantastic.
That's because it was so much like that.
Yeah.
And that's also a little bit why I enjoyed that kind of look about the new Godzilla was it didn't really have that kind of modern, like, I mean, it had the whole
Oh, it did, but
but it didn't have this like quick, like, moving camera type of thing where it was like,
the camera work in that
it
movie
trying
was
to-
really classical. The cameras were usually very slow in their movements.
It's very Spielberg-esque,
Yeah.
which I know isn't exactly classical, but, it was different than the kind of modern day, like, fucking, kind of edgy rock, kind of hip-hop type of thing.
Yeah, and
Isn't that
another great example of Ray Harryhausen. Ray Harryhausen fucking loves mythology. He loves it. Not that you can't tell by his movies, but
He's kind of like Lovecraft, but a special effects guy in that way.
watch
kind of-
Jason.
I
If you
kind of-
want to know what Greek mythology is really about, seriously, watch Clash of the Titans, of course, but then at the same time watch Jason and the Argonauts.
I sort of
Because-
divide Harryhausen's whole career into sort of two phases. Like there's the early sci-fi stuff, and then there's the mythology stuff when he
Then
basically
there's
got what he
mythology
really
stuff.
when he basically got to do really what he wanted to do.
Well,
starting with
that really
Seventh
started
Voyage.
with Seventh Voyage. Seventh Voyage
Yeah,
was the one that kind of set him out. Yeah,
Moving on from
I watched a documentary about him recently.
narrated by Leonard Nimoy.
I don't remember. And, I say recently. It was like over a year ago now.
I remember watching one narrated by Leonard Nimoy.
It was it on Netflix? Because that's the one that I watched.
No, I didn't
And-
see it on Netflix.
Yeah, it was a really good documentary. It covered his whole life, how he got into the field.
I love
and,
seeing some of his older stuff, like when he was when he got his first movie camera and him playing around with it. I loved seeing him kind of do that. And going into like some of that split screening stuff. Another thing that just makes me kind of appreciate the effects works of watching this Birth of Japan, 1959. Was that there was a lot of split screen in that final action part, which is that last link that I sent you all, and of course it looks pretty bad compared to like what comes up in like 1963 and 64 with him. But this was before Agent Tsuburaya got his hand on an optical printer, which is what made a lot of those split screen live action with miniatures look so good in frickin' Godzilla, Mothra versus Godzilla in 1964 was that optical printer. I think that's some of his best double projection stuff that he's ever done is in Mothra.
The Showa Godzilla series was super, super kind of the top quality kind of double projection, double exposure type of things. Like, you remember the original, Mothra versus Godzilla in kind of putting the Twin Fairies in with the other actors.
Mothra vs. Godzilla
it's some of the best stuff. It still holds up now. It's amazing.
Mothra vs. Godzilla really, to me, is just the embodiment of how awesome 60s cinema was.
It is the most iconic and one of the most high quality of the entire.
Definitely. Like, as much as I love Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Plug Your Ears, Andres, to me it just can't match up to the level of quality put into Mothra.
Almost everything in Mothra vs. Godzilla works.
To jump back to Harryhausen for just a second, another effects scene to me that sort of gets overlooked in Clash of the Titans, or people just don't really think about it. The fight with Diaskyllos, which is the name that he gave the two-headed dog, because originally it was going to be Cerberus, but he decided that 3 heads, I think he said it would look silly or something, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Oh yeah, he tried to do it with 3 heads. Yeah.
So
3 heads. It's
3 heads. I don't want none of that shit.
So he chopped off one of the heads
totally
and turned it
too
into
silly
a
for everything else.
Anyway,
Actually, no, I didn't know if it was too silly or if it was just going to take too much time to animate because they were running out of time.
I don't remember exactly what he said, but he talked about how difficult that scene was, just because anytime you're doing fur in stop motion, you have those problems.
Yeah.
You have those problems with, like, fur, but
you had that problem with water too.
Yeah, but
like,
it looks the final product looks really good, and you don't have a lot of that. The fur movement, that is a problem.
Anything that's flowing or is easily moved by air is kind of a pain in the ass to do in stop motion.
Well, it's not just because I saw this movie most recently, but I told you my story with Valley of Guanji, haven't I?
I don't remember this.
It was the only Ray Harryhausen movie I hadn't seen, and I was 14. I was just turning 18 when I first saw that movie. So less than a year ago, and it came on TCM.
And this was you talked about it on Shoe Watch.
Okay, then I won't. All right. Oh, I did?
Yeah. That was
cool.
Early on.
Yeah, but basically the thing that I just wanted to say was I felt like a kid again. I felt like an 8-year-old kid sitting down having the time of his life watching that movie. And, like, I was sitting there grinning the entire time. I was, like, hopping up and down. I was like, oh, my God, look at that. That is so cool. And, the Valley Guanji has some of – it's too bad that film did terrible at the box office because of what was going on at Columbia Pictures at the time.
Yeah, it didn't do well.
But the visual effects in that movie are astonishing. And here's my favorite example. It's some of the best work he's ever done, Ray Harryhausen, in my opinion, next to the skeleton fight at the end of Jason and the Argonauts. But it's the scene where the cowboys are trying to wrestle up Guanji, the dinosaur.
What is it, an Allosaurus?
I think it's an Allosaurus. And they're tying, like, the ropes around it and everything like that, trying to, pin it down so they can capture it. What they did was they split the screen in two, and they tied the ropes to where Guanji's head would be, and just put a Jeep there with a pole, and tied the rope there to that pole and ran it to the cowboys trying to pull, and so every once in a while they'd move the rope with the Jeep. They'd pull, giving them something to actually pull on, the cowboys. And it did this twice, one for the right side and one for the left side. And then Ray Harryhausen spliced those two together and overlapped them just enough so that he could match Guanji's movements with what would mean when the Jeep would pull and when the Jeep would push. And he had to paint the lasso ropes one frame at a time to match up with the actual real footage. And it is seamless. And I'm not kidding. It is seamless, where the rope goes from live action to animation. Seamless.
It's kind of like the wires in Earth versus the Flying Saucers. I dare you to try and find them.
Yeah, you really can't. You really fucking can't.
It was so painstakingly avoided. My favorite...
painted them out,
Yeah, well, it's like... because it was so painstakingly done. My favorite Harryhausen sequence will always be the battle between Amir and the elephant.
Really?
And yeah, I love that scene so much. It's super iconic. And then, I mean, it's just really, I don't know. That'll always be my favorite movie of his, partially out of nostalgia, but also that sequence is just so impressive to me.
It's just it kind of just surprises me because the whole same thing happens in Valley of Guanji. He fights an elephant in that one as well. And it's just
he must really hate elephants for some reason.
He must, it's like I fucking hate
elephants. Fucking squashed my grandmother or something. And
Dumbo was the most disappointing movie of my life.
My parents are dead because of an elephant.
Fuck Dumbo.
I think everyone has that.
Kill you so
family in an alley.
I think everyone has that Harryhausen sequence that's like the most iconic to them personally. Like, just about everybody, like the older generation of Harryhausen fans, just about everybody that they interview always talks about the Cyclops showing up.
The fucking Cyclops scene. I remember watching that scene when I was a kid and being terrified by the Cyclops coming out of the mountain. I was like, how... And I still, whenever I watch it, I'm like, I can remember my 5-year-old self getting terrified by the Cyclops in this scene and everything like that.
I just remember Jason's battle with the Hydra?
Jason's fight with the Hydra. I remember that one a lot from when I was a kid too.
I remember because they showed it in on the Attack of the 50-Foot Monster Mania documentary that they played on AMC Monster Fest. And then they also played it at G-Fest on that G-Fest channel that they had.
Yeah.
And then we were like, this is why Harryhausen is awesome. because he never stuck little bits on an iguana and just had them beat each other up.
He just worked in a fucking basement. That's exactly what he did. He worked in a fucking basement. Like, if you saw his house...
Mm-hmm.
I was picturing, like, this mansion like Lucas has, or, like, some kind of thing because of all the movies he's made. No, he's just got, like, something that looks like a fucking trailer.
Yeah.
And then you go down in his basement, and there's a table, and he's like, yeah, this is where I filmed everything. This is where I did all my work and everything like that. And I'm like, dude, you are like a god.
Impression?
You are a god.
That's your Harryhausen impression?
That is my Harryhausen fascination.
It's kind of...
He sounds like fucking Steve Carell from Foxcatcher.
It's kind of spot on.
Creation is something. He has,
interview on the special features of Fox. Yeah, I don't like it how with the dinosaur tails in the air. It looks like they're constipated. That's why.
Fuck science.
I just remember loving him on the special features of Clash of the Titans because he was always like trashing like old school like Italian Greek films. Like he'd be like, they would have Pegasus with these little tiny wings, and
Medusa I do remember
Medusa would just be a pretty lady with snakes in her hair.
He's like, I said, fuck that shit. I wanted to do my own thing, and I did it.
Fuck that shit, yo.
My own, and this is what I decided to do. Me and my serpent god.
I told myself, you only live once.
Harryhausen is the American Alan Moore.
Which he's not even American.
Do we want to go on record with that statement?
I'm not saying he's an asshole like Alan Moore. I'm just saying, based on this impression of him, he sounds like him.
Why couldn't Alan Moore have died? Instead, we could have kept Ray Harryhausen.
That might be the most fucked up thing, Andre.
I thought he was British, not American.
That is kind of fucked up, Andres. I mean, I don't disagree.
Ray Harryhausen?
Yeah.
He might be. I don't know. I know.
He was. He was born in Los Angeles, California, and then he moved to London. Okay, that's what happened. All right, so he is American.
Harryhausen? Didn't he live in New York, though, or something? Or am I crazy?
I don't know. He apparently moved to London, Bill.
Well, he lived 90 years. So
all I know is that Peter Jackson has a huge boner for him.
That's clear.
A lot of creative people moved to London, apparently. Stanley Kubrick did that.
Yep. Orson Welles most certainly did that.
And then there was Fallout from fucking Clockwork Orange.
Here's the thing I find interesting. The audio commentary on the Blu-ray for Jason and the Argonauts, Peter Jackson does it, or does one of them. And he's clearly fanboying the entire time.
Yeah, it's a great commentary. It reminds me of the way David Callett fanboys over Godzilla. Only he does it a little bit more. Only he does it a bit more intellectually, whereas Peter Jackson is more just like fanboying.
Peter Jackson doesn't like scripting his audio commentaries. He doesn't. He hates that. He says that they should. He likes being able to just speak about what happened.
Peter Jackson's like Tom Cruise in that Oprah interview. He's jumping up on tables, fucking shaking.
First off, Peter Jackson's too heavy to do that, and two,
No, it's 05 Peter Jackson where he was like, he lost weight.
Because he almost died.
Jumps on Oprah's couch. Oprah's couch breaks.
I remember seeing
He almost died making The Hobbit too, apparently.
there was this video that came out
working with dragons
for the day of the Doctor premiered. It was called the Five Doctors Reboot, and it was all about a bunch of the classic Doctors protesting the 50th anniversary special for not putting any of the classic Doctors in it, which it actually did. But anyway, and there was a scene where they were trying to get Sylvester McCoy, and he was on the set of The Hobbit. And there's just this fucking scene where Peter Jackson goes up to Ian McKellen, and who's all dressed up in his costume, and he goes, Ian, have you seen Sylvester anywhere? And Ian's like, who the fuck is Sylvester? And then they just cut away. But the thing that stuck out to me was fucking Peter Jackson was way heavier than I remembered him, because I just remember back in 2005 when Kong came out, I was like, oh, that's a short, skinny dude. And then I watched that and I was like, Jesus Christ, he's old and heavy.
You didn't have the previous experience like I did of seeing Lord of the Rings era Peter Jackson.
No, because my first real introduction to Peter Jackson was King Kong. And then I went back and also watched a documentary about Terminator 2. And he's interviewed in that because he used the effects in something similar anyway. And fucking, I don't know, he used them in some movie in the late 90s. And he was interviewed about those CGI. And I was like, why is he so fat? And I guess he lost weight prior to making Kong.
Little did you know that he usually is fat.
See, that's not the Peter Jackson I know. The real Peter Jackson is the fat Peter Jackson. But for me, it's the skinny one.
I mean, they're all real.
He's more real. It's like Ricky Gervais for me. Like, the real Ricky Gervais is Potbelly Ricky Gervais. And then he lost all that weight, and now he's all athletic and shit.
You know what fucking Matt Reeves recently said in the audio commentary of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes that got me really excited?
What'd that motherfucker say?
He was talking about how Weta rebuilt their CG models from the ground up for this movie and just sort of reinvented the wheel on how they were doing them. And I never realized how much better the effects in Dawn looked then, Rise, until they were doing like side-by-side.
Oh, they're way better.
Until I did a side-by-side comparison, I was like, wow, that's like a world of a difference. But what he basically said was that basically what he said is that he's already had conversations with Weta, and Weta is telling him that the effects in the next movie will look even better than what they just did in Dawn.
But that means it's probably going to take even longer, though.
And I'm like, my God.
So probably going to wait another 4 years for the next one, the rise of the dawn of the eclipse of the twilight of the breaking Planet of the Apes.
Of extinction.
2.
Breaking Ape.
The Return.
Coming soon to AMC.
Breaking Ape. I was just watching the original Planet of the Apes today.
Caesar shaves his head and starts dealing that.
Grows a goatee.
I am the one who signs.
I am the danger, Cornelia.
I am the one who says no.
I almost said Cordelia. Fucking Angel, man. God damn it. Anyway.
You gotta quit watching Angel, man. It's seeping into your brain. You need to watch a little Breaking Bad.
No. If Angel was in Breaking Bad, that Breaking Bad would only be one episode long. Anyway, I'm not saying that Angel is better than Breaking Bad. I'm just saying that Angel's a badass. But anyway, we don't need to get the brown coats freaking out over this episode. God forbid I say anything wrong about anything Joss Whedon never did. Anyway. I know Adam is BRB.
Yes, he is.
But we are going to transition anyway into the news. Andres, do you have news this week?
Just one story.
All right.
Blurt it out real quick.
Not even gonna fuck the theme song.
Oh, wait, hold on. Does the new promo art featuring Vision from Avengers 2 count?
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing, though.
Vision.
Okay,
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Vision is a character, Adam. He's this, like, android that was created by Ultron in the comics. I almost liken him to, like, a robotic Martian Manhunter. That's really not that accurate.
Wait a minute, hang on. He was created by Ultron?
Yeah, in the comics, he was created by Ultron as a weapon to use against the Avengers, and then he wound up...
And wasn't that also his origin in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm only really familiar with the mainstream universe, but
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was the cartoon. That was Earth's Mightiest Heroes. But I remember his origin from there was an Avengers cartoon in the late '90s that was really bad. Called Avengers something, and
yeah, I always
didn't have any. Had none of
United
the
We Stand. No, United We Stand.
And none of the main Avengers. The team was led by Ant-Man and Wasp, and then everybody else was nobodies. I think Hawkeye was in it, but at that time he was a nobody.
Yeah, and only like Captain America and Iron Man made like one episode cameos, and Thor,
they made cameos.
and Thor didn't even appear at all, despite always being in the intro with Captain America and Iron Man.
The guy who started the Avengers was actually Power Man, or not a Power Man. I'm sorry, Power Man.
What a generic name.
Power.
Well, that's why he
Power Man.
That's why he started going by Luke Cage, though, is because he was like, I could be Power Man or I could be Luke Cage.
See, that's when
which one sounds more badass.
that's when you don't have enough of you to be a team of Rangers, and you're just like, I am Power Man.
Power Man.
I am the Power Ranger.
I guess Tommy could do that though and get away with it if he was the Power Ranger. He could get away with that. Although actually, he could form a whole Ranger team of the different powers he's had. He's been 5 different Rangers.
Yep.
So but anyway, so it was Wonder Man who actually started the Avengers.
Wonder Man.
Well, there is a Wonder Man in DC, and that is what he is. He's like he's a counterpart to Wonder Woman.
Okay.
But
having just
Marvel universe, he's just a fucking asshole.
having just done a little bit of research, apparently there have been several Visions over the years, but the original one, the one I'm talking about, the original Vision that appeared in the Avengers.
Double Vision, Triple Vision.
No,
Vision.
it's like that shit that DC does, where there's like 5 different clay faces. But anyway, the original one was created by Ultron.
Who is the Vision? Because I know there was like a huge theory, like, oh, it's gonna be Agent Coulson, and it's like, nah, he's just running some fucking things in S.H.I.E.L.D. now. He's not actually gonna be Vision.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine that means kids.
He really is kind of like a robotic Martian Manhunter. I want to know which one of these characters came first. Probably Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter was around since the 40s, so.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at this guy's abilities, it's like density control ranging from invulnerability to intangibility, mass control ranging from extraordinarily heavy to weightlessness, phasing into objects. Yeah.
Well, the big interesting thing about and Andres, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and send me that concept art so I can take a look at it.
Wait, are we actually doing the new segment right now?
Yeah, I just said, but I said fuck the theme song because you were like, I only have one story.
Okay, okay. Well, I managed to. Okay, well, this is. I guess I can make this a twofer. Where in terms of Marvel news, we did had a 2 teaser trailer, like teaser preview trailers, like trailers for the trailers for Marvel's Ant-Man coming out, I believe, this year. Oh no, or next year.
No, it's 2016.
Okay, 2016. Like the first.
Pretty sure. Hang on, I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna look this up. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so supposedly there's gonna be a new Ant-Man trailer coming out in 3 days. Because right now we are recording on the 3rd of January, and the first.
That's 2015.
Okay, so the first teaser they had is supposedly an ant-sized preview where it's like a tiny screen. It's like a tiny screen that you can't see shit out of. Yeah. And then the second teaser is like regular sized, but it's like so short. It's just like a bunch of brief glimpses that you can't tell what's going on.
Get it, guys? Because he's tiny. Get it?
And so anyways, the other news we had is that we had the promo art revealed, which gives us a better look at the cinematic universe version of Vision from Avengers Age of Ultron.
Who has barely been advertised so far in terms of Age of Ultron, because everybody's been freaking out over James Spader as Ultron.
I assume he's mostly kept as a secret, mostly for like the sake of the story itself.
Which is why I'm not angry. I actually like that we don't know much about it. I know so little about the actual ins and outs of the plot so far. I'm actually really happy.
Okay. Oh well, do not read the biography that's in that like profile image next to Vision.
I'm not reading it.
Okay.
But the interesting thing that I'd like to mention is Vision is being played by Paul Bettany, who is the voice of Jarvis.
Oh,
which makes
yeah.
which makes me think that Vision might be, Jarvis given a body, which is awesome because I fucking love me some Jarvis. So
Well, we've got all those scenes of like the Iron Man armors being used as like Ultron's army. So clearly he's hacking into Jarvis to make that happen.
Well, I imagine Ultron is probably like the anti-Jarvis.
My God.
You know what I mean?
Possibly.
Jarvis is kind of this quiet, like sarcastic, helping hand to Tony Stark, and then Ultron's like, "You're a fucking asshole, and I'm gonna take over the world."
What I'm really shocked is how very comic accurate they made his design look. I mean,
yeah, he looks perfect.
Yeah,
I'm loving this actually.
He has the red face, the green body, the yellow cape, but they add in enough extra details in there to make it look like cooler and like just add a bit more like that techno gear into him.
Well, yeah, he looks more like the modern day Iron Man armor, which is cool. Because I think modern day Iron Man armor looks way cooler than the classic one.
Yeah. Actually, he kind of looks like I don't know. He kind of looks like he's wearing like a Tron outfit with those like zigzaggy lines on his side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing at all.
No, he looks great. I have no complaints whatsoever. Not that I would have anyway, because it's like, oh yeah, I'm a diehard Vision fan. I don't want anybody fucking with my Vision. Literally. Vision.
I wouldn't be surprised if this movie ended up turning people into Vision fans.
Oh, probably. Iron Man turned people into Iron Man fans, so I imagine so.
Yeah.
This movie's going to have a lot of that, probably.
I've always thought that the Vision was a pretty cool character. Not really one that I was into all that much, but, he was around.
He's presented oftentimes as a very tragic type of person, which is, again, very reminiscent of Martian Manhunter.
Well, in Avengers Disassembled, he gets used as a puppet, basically, by Scarlet Witch to just, like, destroy the Avengers, and it's this big thing.
Do either of you know what's been going on with the Vision in recent Marvel history? Because
no.
Fuck no.
They haven't been advertising him at all.
I know Marvel history up to like a certain point, and after that, I just sort of shut off.
I imagine they're going to give him a solo.
Because
for the movie.
Because remember, like back when there was like Norman Osborn made the Dark Avengers, and then like Captain America went ahead and made the New Avengers with Wolverine and Spider-Man and Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no sign of Vision at all. So I haven't seen Vision pop up anywhere in any sort of like modern day story. So I'm assuming like, okay.
They'll probably give him a big comeback right before the movie comes out. Because remember back when
maybe he's dead. I mean, I know comic book characters. Comic book characters don't.
That was so fucking like casual. Like, maybe he's dead.
Comic book characters don't die permanently very often, but it could happen.
Superman made sure that wasn't fucking.
Even Damian Wayne, Batman's son, just came back.
No, did he really?
Yep, he came back.
They resurrected him from the grave.
Less than a year.
Please tell me they at least like made him a zombie or something interesting.
I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Like imagine if he was a Solomon Grundy-esque like zombie now. That would actually be.
Was he still Robin?
What?
But he was still Robin, even if he was like a zombie.
That would actually be really interesting. You know what? I want this now.
But they could call him Robin Zombie. Get it?
Killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid.
To go off topic and go back to something we were talking about way earlier. Bill, look at this picture of Godzilla 2000 and tell me it doesn't look like Gary Busey.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it's so true. He does look like Gary Busey.
Hey.
What is it with this goddamn flying saucer coming towards me? I'm gonna fight it. I'm gonna punch you right in his face.
I'm like smashing you with my tail. I'm Gary Busey.
Gary BuseyZilla.
Hey, Gary BuseyZilla. How are you doing today? I'm doing great.
I'm doing fine.
That's great.
I was watching a review of Starship Troopers recently. Gary Busey's son is in that movie. The first thing the reviewer says is, "Oh yeah, that's Busey Jr. all right. Giant teeth, way too energetic, fucking batshit insane."
All right, listen, son. I'm gonna teach you all about acting.
Poor Busey, man. Busey's fucking crazy.
I'll teach you how to be a Busey.
Listen, son, your teeth will never be the same again after today.
Kind of like how Will Smith taught his son how to act, and he basically said, "Never emote."
Daddy, can I emote? Request denied.
Hey, Dad, can I fight aliens and make jokes about it? No, I'm done with that shit. That shit is in the past now. I ain't walking on the earth anymore.
We're going to serious sci-fi like John Travolta. Dad, that didn't work out for him. Shut up.
I was in sci-fi long before you learned how to spell your name. Not John Travolta, Jeff Travelodge, as he pronounced his own name at the Oscars last year.
Do you think both Will Smith and Jaden Smith kind of already accepted After Earth as a failure? Or do you think their egos won't accept it and just say it's?
I don't know, Andres. I think they're still crying into their piles of money.
Oh boy. So yeah, I guess
I don't think anybody's butthurt over that movie. I don't think M. Night Shyamalan is even that movie's great, man. I think he's he didn't even his name was barely on After Earth.
Shyamalan's name has just gone so far down the toilet.
I remember that movie came out in my senior year of high school, and my physics professor was reading the newspaper, and the first part of his class was devoted to reading a review of After Earth, and somebody was fucking tearing in a new one, and he was just so outraged at the fucking because there was some pretty harsh words about Jaden Smith in that article. He's like, that kid is putting his heart and soul out on the movie screen, and this guy is really very offensive towards that child. And I'm like, did you see the movie, sir? And he's like, yeah, because I called him sir. Did you see that movie, teacher? And he was like, no, but I think it's very good. And I was like, did you see the trailer? And he's like, no. And I'm like, watch the trailer. And we watched it, and he was like, well, it's not something that I would go see, but even still,
By the way, take a look at this image of this newspaper cover, news magazine cover, just to show you just how far he's fallen.
Does anybody remember exactly at what point M. Night Shyamalan went down the toilet? Was it Lady in the Water, or was it The Happening? Maybe
the signs kind of had the bits.
I love how the header article at the top is After Tobacco, the new war on big fat. It's like we're going to talk about two things. We're talking about Shyamalan, and we're talking about fat people.
Dave, this would have been an excellent opportunity for David to make a joke here.
Cheeseburger. The new war on big fat. The reign of the chinless wonder.
See, this is similar.
That's the title.
This is similar to how Tarantino started. We got two young directors who did something great, and then everybody sort of swarmed around them, and they got a bunch of media attention. One of them went on to do a lot more great stuff. The other one is M. Night Shyamalan.
But to answer your question earlier, Dylan, I think Science may have had the giving people a hint of things to come, and then I think Lady in the Water, that was I think that may have been Shyamalan's first passion project, something that he was in complete control of. And
once he got the full control, everybody was like, "Fuck this shit."
Yeah.
You remember the Culkin kid that was in Signs?
The what?
One of the Culkin.
You mean as Culkin is in Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah, isn't one of the Culkins in that movie?
I'll check.
Oh, is it his little brother?
Maybe. I just remember him being even creepier than the alien.
He was, yeah.
With those dead eyes.
Oh yeah, those kids, man. And
he was trying to hurt Bo. I just stabbed my dog.
As it turns out, it's Rory Culkin.
How is that kid not going to be a serial killer, Mel Gibson? Tell me now. How is he not going to be a serial killer?
He already looks like a serial killer, according to this picture from 2008.
I mean, it fits all the basic standards of a serial killer. Traumatic childhood, dead expression, emotionless eyes, and he's already killing animals. That kid's gonna be a fucking serial killer. He is the next fucking Michael Myers.
I picture Macaulay Culkin when Donald Pleasance gives that speech about the devil's eyes.
Exactly. Speak up, Dr. Loomis. Nobody can hear you.
I just picture that scene of Macaulay Culkin going, "I made my family disappear."
Oh, wow.
I could just hear their voices in their head telling me to look at what I did, you little jerk.
Why, Michael? Why'd you kill your family? I walked in at my uncle in the shower.
He told me that I would never feel like a real man ever again.
He told me...
Actual line from the movie.
He was right.
He told me that his penis was a snake and it was going to bite me.
I had to free him from his dangerous pet snake.
So I cut the snake's head off. The fucking meat cleaver.
And this is why we're not getting a panel.
When he was sleeping and it was poised to strike right into his face. He was trying to hold it back by trying to strangle it. This is why I love this show, though.
Yeah. So I guess moving on to the last story, because, this is January, and very rarely do things happen this freaking early in the year.
When the biggest movie that came out this weekend was The Woman in Black 2, with no Daniel Radcliffe.
But, sadly, this is...
There was recently a bit on Saturday Night Live where Mike Myers came back on and did a cameo as Dr. Evil. And was basically berating North Korea because it was when all this interview shit was going on. And one of the things he said was, "If you want to kill a movie, it's easy. Just move it to January." And then he said, "If you want to put a bomb in a theater, just do what I did. Release the Love Guru."
That's really funny.
And by the way, the interview was...
It's humor like that I appreciate. When it's like, I know that movie wasn't popular and that, people hated it and that it was embarrassing. But you know what, man? I could use it.
I just wanted to say that I did see the interview, and it was pretty bad. I mean, there were parts of it that were funny, but James Franco was so freaking annoying. It's like, and a lot of the
James
jokes...
Franco, of course he was.
But, I liked him in This Is the End, not so much here.
He was playing himself in this, or at least a version of himself.
You know who I dislike more than James Franco, though?
Michael Cera?
His fucking brother.
Oh, I think I remember you telling us that back in on Long Island. Like, this is right after that bagel place that Bill took us to. And we walked
after I reacted to seeing Jews, then I was...
dude.
He was like that, and then Dave Franco.
Yeah.
No, it's like James Franco has this shit-eating grin that everybody hates. That's Dave Franco's face all the time.
Remember that shot from Spider-Man 3 where Peter was walking away from the coffee shop and he looks back and he sees Harry smiling at him?
Yeah.
That's what Dylan's talking about. That really asshole shit-eating grin where it's like, I fucked you over. Wink, and the truck drives by and he disappears.
And there's an instant reaction to it when you see that face. It's like, I want to punch it.
So wait a minute, Dylan, is that why you thought about it? Because you looked back in the bagel place and there was some guy in there and he looked at you like that and then the truck...
I don't remember why the fuck we were talking about fucking my hate for David Franco while we were pulling out of the fucking...
That conversation ranged from talks of Jurassic Park 3 to that.
I don't even remember. Did it really? I don't remember.
Numbers on this check, Andres. What's it gonna take?
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
And then Bill was like, is that a Jurassic Park 3 reference? And I'm like, is it? I don't remember. Alan.
But anyway, what's the last story, Andres?
Okay, it deals with the unfortunate passing of a voice actress who's had I'm pretty sure has had an impact on each of our lives in some way, shape, or form. She is Christine Cavanaugh. She was known for doing the voice of Babe in the 1995 film. She was Gosselin Mallard, the adopted daughter of Darkwing Duck. She was Chucky Finster in Rugrats and was Dexter in Cartoon Network's Dexter's Laboratory.
That's the big
one. That's the big one for me.
Them two right there. That's the double whammy.
Yeah.
Chuck and Dexter.
I was never much...
Two short redhead kids, both nerds, and she voiced both of them. Those two shows were hugely huge in my childhood, so that's where it was rough for me, especially Rugrats. I mean, I watched Rugrats obsessively.
I was never a huge Rugrats kid, but even when I did watch it, I wasn't really all that fond of Chucky. But the Dexter's Lab.
Well, look at you then, all high and mighty, with your fucking kids making teleports to fucking
Dexter.
Sisters running with scissors and robots.
Fucking Dexter's Lab is great.
Okay.
I especially love the movie Dexter's Lab Ego Trip.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
God, that was so long ago. I feel old.
I had that on VHS, and then afterwards there was an episode of fucking like Johnny Bravo or something, where like he met the Scooby-Doo gang.
Do you remember all those when you used to buy Cartoon Network VHS tapes and like? I remember buying a Scooby-Doo one, and they had like interviews with the Scooby Gang.
Yeah, I bought a Scooby-Doo movie once, and it had the pilot episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog where he fights the space chicken.
Yep.
I think that was the Zombie Island VHS, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was one of those late '90s, early 2000s ones. The one I'm referring to is the with the first 5 episodes of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Where it's
yeah, I had that one too.
Yeah, where it's got the interviews with them, and I think it was the pilot for Powerpuff Girls was at the end.
Mm. Yeah, they used to do that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, because I had the VHS for the Rugrats movie, and before the movie started, it had a preview of Cat Dog.
I had the Rugrats movie too.
I have the Rugrats movie as well.
You guys remember the fucking Wild Thornberries?
Yeah, they had a crossover movie.
I saw that crossover in theaters.
Yeah, the Rugrats Go Wild.
I did. I saw it in theaters.
I did too. The Smell-O-Vision. Did you remember the Smell-O-Vision?
No, I didn't do it with the Smell-O-Vision.
I did it with the Smell-O-Vision, man.
What a fucking stupid fucking gimmick.
I think
and then Robert Rodriguez was like, I'm gonna bring it back.
I remember seeing that, and I was like, what, maybe. What year did that come out, Andres? Like 2001, maybe?
I'll check right now.
2002 at the very latest, and that's pushing it.
It was a little cringeworthy to look back at the movies that you went to theaters as a kid to see. I look back and I think, why the hell did I see all 3 Spy Kids movies in theaters?
I think the first one is still good.
Why is that a thing I did?
Andres, get out of this call right now.
Andres, there are men made
all I have to go on in terms of Mexican-related American movies, man.
Andres, there are men made of thumbs.
What's wrong with that? It's a parody, okay? It was meant to be like a parody of children's films, children's shows.
Austin Powers parody too, and
I'll give it this: all 3 of those Spy Kids movies are at least better than Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Well, that I will not defend.
There are 4 Spy Kids movies, Dylan.
Yeah.
4.
Joel McHale was in the latest one,
and then he tried to kill himself because of how fucking bad it was.
And okay. So I think the Spy Kids 4, Spy Kids All the Time in the World, was released 2 years ago, or like 2013, and
it was
they introduced.
Recently.
Yeah, and that's the movie that Robert Rodriguez tried to bring back, Smell-O-Vision.
Yep.
These thumb people, I forgot how bad they look.
All I remember is the big, and this might have been in the sequel, the big McDonald's fucking.
They look like the worst Doctor Who monster ever.
Oh yeah, and Rugrats Go Wild, that came out in 2003.
Oh my god, I saw that movie in theaters in 2003, and that's the year Hulk came out. I'm embarrassed.
Okay, so here it's like, I'm looking at the Wikipedia article, and yeah, after Rugrats Go Wild, Spy Kids 4 would be the next movie, like 10, 11 years later, that would use a Romascope as what apparently that's what it's called.
Oh my god, a Romascope. What a stupid name.
I could have swore that Shrek
it looked like they're on a Toy Story, though.
I could have swore that Shrek did something like that, but maybe I was mistaken. It seems like Shrek
was above that shit, yo.
Seems like it would fit Shrek more than it does those movies.
No, man. Here's of the 3. Here's the order from most dignified to least. Okay, Shrek, Rugrats, Spy Kids.
Oh God, these thumb people.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
They look awful. Why was this an acceptable movie for children? Shouldn't even children have said this is stupid?
I did. I was like, I hated the first Spy Kids movie when I saw it.
How dare you people?
I got it on VHS, and I was like, this is beneath me. I'm gonna go watch Power Rangers Lost Galaxy.
You know what holds up so much better? Maybe it's because it's Japanese. The fucking Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just started watching Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, and I was like, this is better. Anyway,
Got the fucking Magna Defender in it.
Fucking Magna Defender, bro.
Motherfucker grows into a giant Ultraman-sized motherfucker, then fuses with his mech.
He combines with the Toro Zord.
Yep.
And becomes whatever the fuck you call that thing. Super Mega Toro fuck you Zord, whatever.
Toro! Dude, he was like a fucking knight, and the first like kid show I ever saw to have on-screen child death, where his kid got blown up.
Yeah, that was fucked up, wasn't it?
He had a fucked up backstory. Yeah,
I had his arc on VHS. In fact, I still have his arc on VHS somewhere around here, and it's fucking amazing.
Show is it? What? What is it?
I have the Magna Defender, his arc on Lost Galaxy. I have it on VHS.
Exactly. I rented it. It's weird. I bought that VHS from a friend of mine, and when I opened it up, it was a Power Rangers VHS, but it was fucking Power Rangers in space, and it was the Psycho Ranger saga.
You know, Andres, you might know this better than I did. I thought I had heard once before that they actually got him from a different show than they got the other Lost Galaxy people. Is that true? Or
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it might be confused with the White Ranger from Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, the White Ranger is from a completely different Sentai.
Yeah, he was from Dire Ranger while they were still using the mechs and they were using the mechs and the stock footage and the White Ranger from Dire Ranger.
They were using the Zord footage from Sentai.
But they were still using the costumes from Zeo Ranger or Jew Ranger.
This season of Power Rangers is very dramatic because this guy, his fucking son dies, and then years later he winds up combining with the Red Ranger's brother. Like, that's a big part of the story.
Who was thought to have died in the first episode.
At another point in the show, the Pink Ranger fucking dies. I mean.
Yeah, and then the villain from last season becomes the new Pink Ranger. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy is actually pretty good. Yeah. But no, they didn't get the Magna Defender from a different Sentai because he's got the logo for from the Gingaman Rangers. He's
got those zigzags on.
With the Charlie Brown squiggle, as they've been called by Power Rangers aficionados. Lost Galaxy is actually pretty good. It's not as good as In Space, but it's
I think it's kind of mistitled because the Lost Galaxy comes into it pretty late in the game.
Nothing to do with the Lost Galaxy. Well, it's like, what else are you gonna call them? Power Rangers in Space again?
Power Rangers
between between spaces.
You know what they should have called it? Power Rangers Terraventure.
Yeah, because that's the name of the fucking space station. Or like. Terra.
And also, it's like when Tommy describes those Rangers in Legacy of Power and Dino Thunder, he says they were the Power Rangers of the Lost Galaxy, which is not true. They never left our galaxy when they got the powers. They were technically the Power Rangers, but they were the Power Rangers of Terraventure, though. That's what they defended. That makes sense.
Well, that Dino Thunder thing isn't exactly all that accurate. You know.
They didn't really fuck that much up.
It's vastly oversimplified, I guess, is what I mean to say.
Oh yeah, it's like, we fucking give Kimberly gave her power coin to Catherine, and then that's when Zeo started. It's like there was like a half a season that you skipped over, dude.
You're not gonna go over like the ninja stuff at all? No, or not the alien stuff? The time when you turned into kids? Nope.
He basically didn't want the Dino Thunder Rangers to realize just how convoluted a universe they lived in. So he tried to boil it down.
He didn't even try to get into the whole Aisha Tanya shit where it's like fucking... So Aisha became a child, right? Then she went back in time to Africa and met up with this kid named Tanya who was dealing with some sick animals. And Aisha decided to stay in Africa and help the animals, and her family decided to move there. And Tanya came into the present and became the Yellow Zeo Ranger. And then Connor just killed himself because he couldn't follow all that.
We live in a weird universe, man.
It's like the Power Rangers universe, if you could even call it that, really doesn't make any goddamn sense.
It's a universe, but no, it don't make sense.
And they like very rarely acknowledge the fact that like there's monsters and mechs and a whole lot of fucked up shit going on all around the world.
Well, Power Rangers are real. Really?
Yeah. Remember?
Really?
Oh, silly kid, there's no such thing as monsters.
Tell me.
Yo, what about those dudes in the red coats that are fucking like patrolling your streets every fucking day?
I just found.
I love Carter in that episode, and he's just like, there are monsters. All right, I buy that. I fight them on a daily basis. There's probably monsters.
Found me some badass Magna Defender fan art. No.
Dude, I love Magnum.
I just realized that we just entered DFOS territory here the last, 10 minutes.
We just start talking about Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Is that a thing we do often on DFOS?
When do we do that?
I mean, going on tangents within tangents.
Oh yeah, because we never do that on SOS. That's never a thing that happens.
No,
on
I mean,
SOS.
no. Tangents on SOS. Are you high?
Hang on. Oh my god, I feel bad though because the news story was actually pretty serious.
Yeah.
Oh right, Christine Kavanaugh died. That's really sad. Well, I mean, I sort of touched on this on DFOS, so I've sort of gotten my thoughts out there already. But
okay.
very very sad, very sad.
Very sad stuff.
Very young. She died on December 22nd at the age of 51, from undisclosed causes.
She died at 51. Oh,
yeah.
That's really.
Dude, this guy does really badass Power Rangers fan art, just like tons of it. I'm sorry.
You know what? I'm not as mad because if I would, you know what? For humor, for the sake of comedy, I would have been more upset if this was like David doing this. We're just used to going, God damn it, David! Stop overcomplicating this.
I mean, Dylan said a lot already on DFOS, so he kind of gave his piece. So, and so did I. So I don't really have much.
I'm completely disinterested.
I'm looking at her Wikipedia page, and she has quite a large body of work within the short amount of time that she was performing. She basically worked from 1988 all the way to 2001 when before she retired.
She was like the Corey Burton of female voice actresses.
Yeah, she was pretty much She was pretty much everywhere, even in I think apparently she was in live action roles in shows like Cheers and The X-Files and Everybody Loves Raymond and ER.
She was in that shit?
Yeah, and Jerry Maguire. It seemed like one of those reliable people that you can use for bit parts here and there or just major roles here and there.
I see. Cool.
So, yes,
all right.
All
right.
Yeah, she was like you, Bill. She was also a huge part of my childhood, being that I grew up on the early Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network shows, and I'll continue to remember her, and eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to pass down our memories of her work for years to come.
My kids are going to watch Rugrats, and they're going to be like, Dad, this is stupid and old, and I'll be mad and fucking kick them. No.
Fuck modern Cartoon Network with their fucking whatever the fuck they play.
Hey, man, I will always defend Steven Universe.
With their fuck.
Why? I just had this bizarre image in my head of fuck when I said, "Oh, well, I'll show them to my kids and then I'll kick them." Just had this weird image in my head of fucking me wearing a turtleneck sweater with a fucking giant mustache. Fucking,
you look in the mirror, you're like, "Oh dear God, I've turned into my father."
But Bill, you can't see your facial hair.
Yeah, but if I'm a dad, I don't know. My dad took a long time to grow his mustache too. That's why he never shaved.
You think you're gonna have kids, and that's just gonna magically make you're gonna have a fucking Sid Haig mustache?
It's just I imagine every dad has a mustache. So it's like I even if I have to get a fake one.
You know what? My dad has a mustache. You might be onto something.
Andres, does your dad have a mustache?
Well, he's capable of growing facial hairs, but he never grows one. So
He's got the capability, Bill.
Having a mustache.
My grandpa has a pretty thick mustache, so yeah.
Adam, your dad has a beard, doesn't he?
Correct.
Okay, I thought so. That's all right. So 3 out of 4. That's not bad.
Well, I know that my mustache grows. I have a terrible mustache whenever I let my facial hair grows out because it's just it's not a full mustache. It feels pretty pathetic. So it's nope, gotta shave it all off.
I know, when we were at G-Fest, Andres is like, so why haven't you guys shaved yet?
And I'm like, I just trimmed mine, and Bill's, can't see Bill's.
I was like, I only shave once a month, if that even, and it's just because it starts to get itchy.
I shave once a week.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm what they would call a bear.
Indeed.
Oh shit, Mesogog being a badass.
Hang on. Just
That reference just went way over my head.
Well, hang on.
It's the bill. Adam.
sorry,
It's the villain-
Adam.
it's
I'm still looking at Power Rangers fan art.
Yeah,
Hang on.
he's the villain
Just to
to
say
a season.
Hang on, wait.
A really
Just to say
awesome
one
villain
last
because
thing
he's an evil scientist with a T-Rex head. So
Oh, I
He's
love
like Spider-Man's the lizard.
Actually, not even really.
No, he is way cooler than the
Not
lizard.
even really a T-Rex head because he's got like spikes. It's just a generic like dinosaur head.
Transfiguration.
He talks like that.
Never do that again, Bill. Please, you're just gonna give me nightmares.
Everything he says is in this whispery, drony voice.
He's actually one of the most unique Power Rangers villains because he's over
He's got
the
a
top.
dinosaur head.
He's one of my favorite Power Rangers villains. He's awesome. But anyway, there's this fucking
He's right up
There's
there with
this-
Zed for me.
he's definitely very kind of similar to Zed in his sense of humor being very dry and so obsessed with being evil. And so self-aware too. I remember there's this fucking moment in the crossover with the Ninja Storm Rangers where he teams up with Lothar, and Lothar gets just gets defeated, and he goes like, "Oh, you can never trust anybody," just jokingly, and then Mesogog turns to him and goes, "You're right, just like I should have never trusted you." And then Mesogog just fucking kicks his ass.
Remember the fucking last episode where he transforms and basically turns into a mini kaiju?
Yeah, that's what I was referring when I was like, I shall complete my transfiguration. And it's like, why didn't you just say transformation, you goddamn...
Because transfiguration sounds more interesting.
It does. He's great. But the thing I was trying to say was, had my friends Joe and Jake over recently. We were watching a bunch of Power Rangers team ups just to kind of pass some time.
While
And
eating
we
your
watched-
pretzels.
Yeah, and we were watching an episode of Dino Thunder, and it was Legacy of Power, and at the end, you know, the whole episode's Mesogog's got Tommy chained up to this thing that's like gonna kill him or something. I don't know. We're gonna turn him into a fucking frog or whatever. I don't know. They're not very clear. And throughout the episode, like, they've been watching the video journals where Tommy relays the history of Power Rangers, basically. And at the end, they cut from the Rangers finally find out where Tommy is, and they cut from, all right, we got to go save him. And then they cut immediately to just Mesogog doing this. So it's like, all right, so I'm gonna try and perform it myself. All right, guys, we're gonna go find Tommy. Let's go. Mesogog doing that at the camera.
I love the reveal with the White Ranger where you basically find out, I am your father.
Oh, when Trent finds out that Mesogog is Anton Mercer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also one of like the most complex Power Rangers villains because he wants to rule the Earth, but not. He doesn't want to rule. He wants to basically kill all mammals and turn everybody into dinosaurs. So it's kind of like racism.
He's kind of got like a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on, isn't he? Because like.
Oh, it is exactly Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah.
See, destroying the Power Rangers is just what he does in his spare time. He has a day job, and
Exactly. And Anton Mercer's, I love how like casual him and Trent are, but it's like, oh, Dad, what are you doing? Oh, I'm making plants. And he's just like, oh, so you're going to try and kill me later? Probably, son. That's all right. That's cool.
it's all good. I'm going to change into a dinosaur and try to eat your face. It's all good.
All right, I'm going to go morph. It's like, all right, cool. I love Dino Thunder. Dino Thunder and SPD are my seasons of Power Rangers.
You go morph and I'll go transfigure.
I'll go transfiguration.
Oh, Dad.
Oh, Dad. Oh, son, they just hug and they just walk away.
Oh, God, I
And
just
you just hear, and then you just hear, White Ranger, Dino Power.
God, I just found a still image of him in the middle of the transformation, and it looks fucking terrifying.
Send me that shit.
Shit.
I love the line.
He kind of looks like Voldemort in this image.
There's this point that Linkara brings up in History of Power Rangers when he does Dino Thunder, and it's when Anton Mercer is giving his backstory. Oh, oh my god!
Oh my god!
Holy shit! He looks like a Goomba.
He's in the middle of his transfiguration.
Figuration. This was in a kid's show. Anyway, what was I saying? I love when he gives his backstory and he goes, I was working on a whole new form of technology. And then he drinks it and Linkara just goes, and you decided to drink your whole new form of technology. What a great idea that must have been, Anton.
He was a brilliant scientist.
He was an average supervillain, but he was a brilliant scientist.
No. He was an average scientist, but he was a brilliant fighter.
Yeah.
He's kind of...
I also love how Tommy goes from fucking martial artist to race car driver to paleontologist. It's like, how did that happen?
Goku
Maybe
could have gone from martial artist to race car driver.
Wait, when did he become a race car driver?
In Turbo. That's what he was doing at before he gave his powers over to TJ.
Okay, maybe he was working on his biology degree while his bachelor's and eventually his master's or doctorate, whatever, PhD, whatever, while he was doing the whole race car thing.
He was an average race car driver, but he was a brilliant scientist.
I guess so. Though it's an interesting thing where it's like, if you try and do the madness of trying to piece together the Power Rangers timeline, so to speak, Haley in Dino Thunder explains that she met Tommy in college while he was doing his whole paleontology thing, and that's where they found the Dino Gems and were forging them to be used as morphers later on, just in case they ever needed them.
To give it more credit than it sounds like it needs, it makes sense that he would be interested in paleontology since the original Rangers got their powers from dinosaurs as well.
No, he got he got his powers from dragons. Dragons are not dinosaurs.
Well,
fuck that shit.
You know.
No, Dylan, no.
Technically, they got their
Dragons
powers
are
from an
not
alien.
Dinosaurs.
But the Dragon Zord doesn't even look like a dragon. It looks more like Mechagodzilla, who's a robotic form of a mutated dinosaur.
Well, what I love about it is fucking when Zordon in the first... I rewatched the first episode of Power Rangers recently, and I'm like, oh god, this does not hold up.
Right, I know the feeling.
Bring me 5 teenagers with attitude.
No, that's not...
Five overbearing, blah, blah, blah...
humans.
Oh no, not teenagers! Ay.
That is correct, Alpha. He's trying to do the shitty British accent. Anyway, when Zordon gives them their powers, he just goes, he's saying, Jason, you are strong and courageous. You will embody the Tyrannosaurus dinosaur. And he gets to Zach and he says something like, Zachary, you are true to your heart and free spirit but stern. You will command the power of the Mastodon dinosaur. And I'm like, wait a minute. Dinosaur.
Hey man, he is an alien, okay? So maybe he does not...
Yeah, but he's been here for thousands of years.
Does he call the saber-toothed tiger a dinosaur too?
Bet your boots he does.
God.
Let me guess. He calls a pterodactyl a dinosaur too.
The majority of the original Power Rangers are not based on dinosaurs. Tyrannosaurus and Triceratops are the only two. Everyone else, they're not dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, pterodactyls technically aren't dinosaurs. Okay, never mind.
Nope, reptiles.
Pterosaur.
And then you got a Dragon Zord, and it's like, nope, that's not a dinosaur.
At least the original Jew Ranger was just more like generic, creatures from so many million years ago.
Also, I rewatched an episode like that I used to love when I was a kid, where it's Tommy and Jason, where they first meet Titanus.
Mm-hmm.
And they team up, and they're going to get these blasters, right, that are going to be able to help them defeat the Super Putties. And fucking Jason picks up the case of them, opens them, and they just boldly say ZU Ranger on the side of them. And I'm like, oh god, I love early Power Rangers with shit like that. Just don't give a fuck of how stock footage.
And for shit that should not be.
It's funny that you bring up how disappointing the first episode of Power Rangers is when you go back to watch it, because if you watch the first episode of Z Ranger or Jew Ranger, holy shit, it's fucking epic.
I just realized that I'm not sure if the Super Putties were also part of Z Rangers, but I'm looking at the costumes right now and they have a Z on their chest right now, on the chest.
No, you're talking about Lord Zed's putties.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the putties were from Zeo Ranger.
Yeah.
Right.
Almost everything from Mighty Morphin that wasn't kids in a bar or in a juice bar talking was from ZU Ranger.
Including Frankenstein.
Oh, yep. Frankenstein was from the show, because Frankenstein became one of Rita's generals for a while.
There's so many beautiful effect shots in the fucking original show that they didn't get to recycle for Power Rangers, though, and it's so sad. Like, the first episode is a spectacle for the eyes. They tone it down in subsequent episodes, because it's like that first episode's supposed to hook you, you know? But,
Yeah.
Is Zeo Ranger more like a better, like, because obviously it's like, you know, Power Rangers is something where it's like, we all have a lot of nostalgia for it, but it's not really good. Does Sentai hold up better in that way, or is it still like, it's cool?
I haven't watched all of Zeo Ranger yet, because I was downloading episodes, and that was a pain in the ass, and now I'm waiting for that DVD.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it too. I'm really excited.
And from what I've seen, they hold up really well. I mean, it's still, don't go into it expecting it to be super serious. It's still silly, and it's still like a kid's thing, but it's...
I mean, I remember watching that dubbed episode of Abba Ranger from fucking Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not...
Well...
Like, I don't know if people are like, oh, Super Sentai is so much more serious, and I'm like, really?
Well,
I mean, it is more serious than Power Rangers, I think, in regards to Zoo Rangers. But it's still a silly kid show. But it does hold up better to me.
If I can compare it to like a modern day like kids television show that takes itself seriously but is lighthearted for the most part. What could it be? I guess maybe not Avatar. Maybe that would be too good of a show to compare it to. But like, it's that type of tone where it's like it's a serious story, but it's very lighthearted along the way. But,
you know how nobody in their right mind was ever scared of Rita Repulsa ever.
Yeah,
Pandora is actually a pretty
she
threatening villain.
She held 2 kids hostage and put them on like this death trap in the first 2 episodes.
She has this thing where she despises children. Like, she goes out of her way to try and kill children. There's this whole 2-episode thing where she has this monster called the Dora Sphinx, because all of the monsters in Zeo Ranger are called Dora monsters, and it'll be like Dora Skeleton, Dora Titan, Dora this, Dora that. Anyway, what the Dora Sphinx basically does is it asks children riddles, and if the children get the riddles wrong, he turns them into trees. And not just any trees in a forest that is about to get cut down for lumber.
That is fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is like Captain Planet played by Don Cheadle shit.
Look, I do want to recommend this video to you, Bill. There's this video called Mighty Morphin ZU Rangers, and it basically covers like the comparison and contrast, the differences between the first 3 seasons of Power Rangers and their respective Sentai shows.
It's not like just doing like, fuck Power Rangers, this fucking Super Sentai is the shit. It's like a objective thing though, right?
Right. It was completely objective. I remember I came across this because Geekvolution like favorited this video or these videos.
You know how the Green Ranger thing is like the thing that everybody remembers the most from the original Power Rangers? That's like the big like arc. It's that way in the Sentai too, because the Green Ranger is actually the Red Ranger's brother, and it's this whole thing.
It's a really like big, almost like, even though like from what I've researched, it's like a very emotional story about dealing with the inevitability of death.
Yeah, I haven't actually gotten to watch those episodes yet because, like I said, I'm waiting for the DVD.
The Green Ranger died. That's why they couldn't use a whole lot of Tommy Oliver in Power Rangers, because there wasn't enough stock footage to use.
They fucking write him out.
Yeah, they had to write him out until eventually they had to completely write him out until they brought him back as the White Ranger.
I mean, it is, given that fact though, it is pretty shocking how much the Green Ranger, how many episodes do have the Green Ranger in it? He's in about 40 episodes, you know what I mean? Because that show, there's a lot of episodes of the first 2 seasons of Power Rangers. The first season's like 65 episodes long.
I'm not entirely sure how long he stuck around on Zeo Ranger, because like I said, I haven't really gotten to that point yet.
Now, does Pandora mind control him, or is it his own choice to become...
Pandora, yeah. He joins by choice. But
that's more interesting to me, automatically.
He legit turns bad.
Yeah. And the reason...
I wanted them to do that in Power Rangers, because they danced around that a little bit with Trent and Dino Thunder, but even then it's still like... It was still the White Ranger as a separate personality. I've always wanted them to do, like, just make a Ranger evil and then have him decide not to be.
They kind of did that with... Well, in terms of, like, evil Rangers by choice with those like, Rangers at the end of... what was it? Space Patrol... SPD.
Yeah, but they were barely in it. And also their costumes sucked, so they were barely Power Rangers.
Well, let's see. And Pandora, the reason why she's like... thing that motivates her to be evil is that her child
her
either
son.
Her son. Yeah, her son died or something. Yeah, and she's like taking revenge upon the whole world.
Let me throw down this bit of trivia. Bill, do you know who Bandoro works for?
Lord Zed.
No, Lord Zed's not in the original show.
I know.
Fucking Satan.
Yeah.
Was that true?
Yeah.
Fucking dinosaurs versus Satan. That sounds badass. It sounds like a metal.
And they used him in Power Rangers as some other character. I forget. I was doing some research, but he's basically this big blue head with like really sharp hair.
Yeah, he's a big blue sharp-haired head in the sky.
Leader. Did they use him as Zordon? Because that sounds like Zordon.
No, I'll send you a fucking image. Oh, he's called Lokar in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah, let me give you this fucking link.
I do really want to watch Jew Ranger now. It sounds awesome.
It's fucking amazing. I wish the DVD was coming out sooner than February.
This is why I'm excited about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reboot. Like, I hope that it's more like that then.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's a better adaptation of the Sentai. Yeah, I remember this. Not that I'm saying I want it to be like a better adaptation of the Sentai, just more quality storytelling.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's this big thing in Jew Ranger where in one episode she like summons Satan.
Destroy the Power Rangers and destroy the Earth. Anyway, what I've always wanted to see is like I want like the Darth Vader of Power Rangers, where a Ranger goes bad on purpose and then is the villain of the season.
Turns out to be the main Ranger's father. Winds up killing the main villain of the season.
That would be cool though. It's like, what if
and takes control of his Zord.
Well, okay, throw me out a past Ranger who would make sense if he turned evil.
Like
obviously we can't do Tommy. He's too big.
Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
Yeah, Anakin Skywalker becomes the Power Ranger.
Jedi Ranger, huh?
I'd watch it. I don't know.
His Zord is a giant robot Yoda.
I mean, I think the closest they ever got to like.
What if the fucking kid from Turbo came back and gives a villain?
Oh no!
That's perfect. Justin, he becomes a villain. In a universe where we're trying to make it like a more dark Power Ranger storyline, there we go. Justin becomes a villain.
Like after Turbo ended, he met up with some evil villain who would wind up being like the Palpatine of Power Rangers, and he turned him evil. And now,
what if? Well, he briefly pops up in Power Rangers in Space, and he gets his turbo powers back. So we know he's still got his powers out there somewhere. So what if Dark Spectre, the villain from or like the Monarch of Evil in Power Rangers in Space, comes back to life and tries to like turn him evil, and tries to mold him into a new villain because he can't take physical form. Not mind control, but just like trying to make him understand why he should. I mean, or you could just have him go crazy because, I mean, when you're a kid and you have to do fucked up shit like be a Power Ranger, seems like a recipe for serial killer. You know what I mean?
I'm down for this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for this too. Let's do it. Power Rangers Darkness. Power Rangers
into darkness.
Power Rangers into darkness.
Power Rangers into darkness. Fucking the kid from Turbo. What's his fucking name again?
Justin.
Fucking Justin, played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
And then he's like, "Oh, it's
I am better.
It's not Zed. It's not Zed." Turns out he's Zed.
Oh yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch as Zed would be badass. Anyway, we're pretty far in, so let's wrap this up.
That would.
Does anybody have any major announcements?
I guess.
I want to pimp myself out a little bit.
So that's what I mean. Go ahead.
Okay. Make sure to go to the Godzilla Saga official YouTube page and subscribe there. A bunch of new stuff coming along the way. If you're on Facebook, do like the Godzilla Saga on Facebook. Plenty of new pictures coming along if Dylan would get off his ass and start coloring some stuff. And
I'm sitting on it right now, by the way.
on that front.
I am lying down on my bed currently. If you're interested in Star Trek, which not many of you are, I guess, I don't know. But I made a video on why the Borg are the most terrifying villains, in my opinion, ever created in fiction. And do stay tuned for a few Mass Effect videos, I believe. And, yeah. Kind of want to do an audio commentary on a 1976 movie called The Food of the Gods, but I kind of want somebody with...
Oh, I'll do that.
Oh, would you be interested in doing that?
Is that the ant movie?
No, it's the giant hamster.
Oh
rodent.
my god, it is so delightfully bad.
Yeah, I remember this.
I've seen the trailers like years ago when I was in like middle
finally
school.
uploaded it in full on YouTube.
Oh, I've always wanted to see that.
It sounds like such a badass.
It is so. I remember watching this movie when I was a kid. It was Empire of the Ants. They're both Bird-Eye Gordon movies. Empire of the Ants and Food of the Gods. They played a back-to-back feature. First off, Empire of the Ants is what made me afraid of ants. My father made me watch it. And then this was on immediately after, and this movie scared the living shit out of me when I was a kid, and so I watch it now, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so bad.
And it's about giant hamsters?
It's about giant rats, but they're really hamsters.
Yeah, they're big rats.
They're big rats, but they're clearly hamsters in several shots.
So it looks like fucking Pandemic. The fucking 2 episodes from South Park.
There's a book.
Yes! Oh my god. Andres, you'd be interested in doing that?
Fuck yeah.
Hell yes!
Are there also giant chickens in the movie? Because I looked up Food of the Gods and I'm getting pictures of giant chickens.
Giant chickens, giant mosquitoes.
It's an H.G. Wells novel.
Oh,
yeah.
If based off of an H.G. Wells novel, it means they have the same title and they're written in English, then yes.
When did H.G. Wells die, though?
I think I might actually have this. I have a leather-bound book of like 5 different H.G. Wells novels, and I think that might be one of them. I'm now more interested to read it. There's also
Wait,
giant
is it
wasp.
still on Netflix? Because it was
now.
on both Empire of the Ants and Food of the Gods were on Netflix for a while, and I have Netflix free for a month, so I'd be willing to watch it in good quality there.
There's a sequel.
I mean, the quality, yes, it was made in the 80s. The quality of the video on YouTube isn't too bad, but it's VHS kind of quality.
Nope, no Food of the Gods here.
Okay, damn it. Okay.
Bill, we should do a commentary on Dino Saucers.
Let's do it, dude. Dino Saucers.
Oh, I'm just looking at the giant rats right now. Those rats are beautiful. Eating him.
They look so bad.
Any more announcements, Adam?
No.
Okay.
Go watch that Borg video. I watched it. I enjoyed it.
And let's see. Be on the lookout for videos with Pete and I. We're going to be trying to wrap up our thoughts on all the movies that we've seen in 2014 but we didn't get the chance to review. And be sure to tune in for our best and worst films of 2014. As well, sticker.
What about that robot list, Andres? How's that coming?
It's a coming, and keep out on the lookout for my top 15 favorite giant robots, and future reviews coming for 2014, as well as Shoe Watch Super Dynamic Ultra Force Go. Be sure to check out our latest episode where we have Robot God Akamatsu's writer and co-creator James Biggie on our show as the guest.
Yep. Awesome. Dylan, do you have anything?
Not really. I mean, there was that last episode of Kaiju Spotlight, but that's been a while now, so... nothing.
The only thing I'm going to say is upcoming soon is my addendum to Godzilla Palooza, in which I will finally do a solo analysis of Godzilla 2014. It has been a long time coming, and it's finally coming soon. So look out for that coming in the next couple weeks. So get excited. And I have a trailer up for that now on my channel. But anyway, aside from that, I think that's going to do it for this very long and kind of all over the place episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. But until next time, I'm the Worcester, a.k.a. Zazubaar.
My mic was off.
I'm
I'm trying to conserve the battery on it. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Don't hear him.
Oh my god, somebody uploaded Empire of the Ants as well. Oh, we have to watch that too. Anyways, no. I'm Adam Noy.
All of that to say one.
I can't really follow that. I'm fucking Super DM64. Bitches.
And I'm Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly the way it's been, and that's exactly the way it always will be.
And the science will always...
Motherfucker!